Welcome to episode 194 of the Reptile Gumbo podcast. If you listen to this, 193 has not been released yet because I got lazy.
Are you serious?
I got lazy.
James.
I actually put it on my computer about 20 minutes ago so I can actually edit it. It'll be out tonight. It was a good episode. If anybody listened last week, we had on Chris Eater from Croc Encounters. And
it was
a great interview. So I'll get that out. Trying to open a drink so everybody can't hear it.
I took a bite of food and James is like, oh God, we gotta go. I'm like, I have a mouthful of food.
I just I need everybody to realize, for people that have listened to the podcast for a long time, I forgot all about having this, but look, I got sound effects.
That's how you feel about my emotions with my book right now.
It is.
I put my book down to be here, people. This is how much I love you.
Yeah. Speaking of that,
I can't. It just took such a twist.
It'll be fine.
I'm 32 hours committed to this series. 32.
I mean, I can say that about like TV shows. There's not a book. I'm not spending. That's why I don't read books. Forget that.
Oh, I just need to know how it ends. And there's 41 chapters left. And I have work for 3 days.
That's what she said.
That doesn't even apply to that situation.
It applies to every situation.
You suck.
That's what she said applies to every situation. Although, hey.
That's what she said.
Applies to what you just said too.
Okay, that one did work.
Bazinga.
Okay, you win.
All right. So Katie's here tonight. Robert is unfortunately feeling under the weather again. He will be back hopefully next week. Little tease. Stay around. I'll tell you about the show for next week.
James has been waiting a long time for this one, y'all. You just don't even know.
It's a Christmas miracle. I'm just telling you right now. Next week's show.
He's been talking about it for a while.
It's gonna be awesome. Also, our giveaway for December, our first week of December, is tonight.
Yeah.
If you have not entered, there are 3 more weeks in December that we are giving away. I say we, it's not us. It's our friends over at Colossal Constrictors. They're giving away different gifts. This week's giveaway is going to be a red line scraper set, which I thought was ridiculous when they first came out with, but I use it all the time. It's got tons of different scraper tools for getting your rates off of everything. So into the show, we'll give that away to one winner. If you have not entered, all you have to do is go to our Facebook. You'll see the post pinned at the top. Tell us what you want for Christmas, what reptile related thing you want for Christmas, and you're entered for free.
I want another Mist King.
For what?
Just to have.
To use where?
Because we might need it one day, James.
For what?
I don't know.
This one? I do want another one. Actually, I want to hook up all of my boa cages, all of my 4-foot cages to a Mist King and just have it go off like for a little bit in the morning, like a morning dew, and a little bit at night for the nighttime, and see how that does with the boas.
There you go. See, we need another one.
I also need to redo my entire snake room. And build.
Sounds like a good Christmas break.
I need to build stands, and it's gonna be a big thing. So, anyways, go enter our giveaway, and once you go, tell us what you want for Christmas, and then give Colossal Constrictors a like on Instagram or Facebook. They are amazing people. They did our giveaway last month. They did our giveaway last December when we gave away a temp gun every week of December.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was. And so this week we're doing something different. So this week is the scraper set. At some point we're giving away bedding, a digital scale, a probe set. So go get entered for that.
Yeah.
Oh, I see who's in the chat tonight. How's our buddy Lewis? Let me go ahead and
I was going to say, let me go ahead and do these real quick before we get too sidetracked, and then we'll bring our guest in as well. He may have some things to weigh in on. At least his wife understands how I'm feeling about books. Are you looking for a high quality PVC rack? If you are, look no further than Lone Star Reptile Racks. They offer a variety of sizes for all types of snakes, geckos, rats, and more. You can even order something custom. Shipping is available, or you can plan to pick up at a Herbst Reptile show near you. Visit lsreptileracks.com to reach out to Lone Star Reptile Racks today.
Yeah, what she said. Little Shop of Horrors. Little Shop of Horrors is a small feeder and pet supply business based in San Antonio, and they regularly schedule feeder meetups around San Antonio as well as other neighboring towns and cities. They offer shipping on their feeder insects, isopods, and are working on starting shipping on their feeder rodents too. All feeders are raised on a nutritional diet that optimizes the health of the reptiles and the amphibians that consume them. Yeah, go give a shout out to Lewis. He'll hook you up with some awesome feeders. If you need any of our sponsor stuff, you can go to our website, the Reptile Gumbo podcast.com. And thanks to our amazing listener, Nathan, you can go there and see everything.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He is. You can see all the list of all of our guests, and then you go to our sponsors. You got all of our sponsors on there. So yeah, go check that out. Also, Herps. Remind me, I need to look up Herps. Here we go. Next Herp show is January. We're done for the year.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Oklahoma City, Oklahoma is January 13th, January 14th. And then off to Longview, Texas, January 20th, 21st. And then my birthday weekend, I'll be there at least. I don't know if anyone else from the show will be there.
It's UIL competition weekend. It really just depends on any of my kids make it to the final. If I be there, it might not be till Saturday.
She means kids at school, not our kid.
I'm coaching them. They're excited. They're good. They can play.
At worst, I will be there doing solo interviews, which will be awkward.
Josephine will not be there. She'll be in Galveston with her Girl Scouts.
She doesn't help me on the podcast, so that doesn't really affect me much.
Sorry.
Anyways, that's Conroe, 27th, 28th January. Corpus Christi, Texas, February 24th, February 25th. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, technically Gonzales, March 2nd and March 3rd. Bryan, College Station, March 9th, March 10th. Rosenberg, Texas, which is our new home show, which threw me off because it's basically Sugarland, March 16th and March 17th. And then Slidell, Louisiana, April 6th and April 7th. Let's see what we got in the comments real quick. Darren asked, is Miss King the best system to use? It's what we use on our Chameleon and on our Skink Spec here. And I'm telling you, it's the best one. I haven't used the other ones, but
we literally set it up and it does its thing, and we just make sure it doesn't run out of the water in the jug.
Yeah, I just use a 5-gallon jug you'd use like on a water cooler, and I just drop the thing down. It's great. I mean, compared to like some of the cheaper ones, I'll say cheaper ones, like go to PetSmart, like Zoo Med and all, it's definitely quality wise better than all of them. I would recommend Miss King, and it's so easy to set up. You set up on tons of timers. I don't worry about it. It goes off in the morning, goes off at night. We haven't killed the chameleon yet, so that's a bonus.
Sounds like you expected me to do that. I don't appreciate how that
sounded.
You did not. Did you really? Unacceptable. Lewis.
Anyways, Lewis said he just got done cleaning rats. That's gross. But anybody needs rats.
Got to do it.
Speaking of rats, I got mice in the garage.
Yeah.
Don't let me forget that I got to feed snakes tonight.
Luna did a really great job at her program today.
Oh, I have a mouse for your snake too.
I need to take it to school. Stop! Don't take my paper clips.
Oh, okay.
I'm grading papers.
Anyways, am I missing anybody? VivTech bulbs. If you need a LED UV light bulb, go check out VivTech and get your bulb for 15% off. You can use code GUMBO22. Get 15% off your bulbs, smart devices, anything that VivTech does, which all of it is high quality. I strongly recommend, because along with our Miss King, we're not getting any sort of sponsorship for.
No.
I've got VivTech bulbs and all the stuff behind us too. So need to reach out to Miss King. Hey,
that'd be funny.
You got anything else, Katie?
No.
Ready?
Yeah, bring in our guest.
I'm going to bring in our guest, and then I'm going to butcher his business name. It's pronounced the exact same way it's spelled. Oh, I see. You're trying to figure it out now. Yeah. See, don't give me shit. You're looking at it right now on the screen. All right, let's try this. I'm going to do it. Maybe.
I think I might know it.
I'm going to mess it up. Our guest tonight is Jake Hull from
the Ophidiarium. Ophidiarium.
No, what? You're leaving out letters. Ophidiarium.
There we go. That was it.
Oh,
Solid.
I see that other eye.
See.
God, I need
and
glasses.
You have glasses.
I need new glasses.
That's not
In
good.
her defense, it's Greek, so it's not her fault.
See, I like this guy. He already takes my side.
There's his wife. His wife's in the chat.
Oh, see, there you go. That's why he's being nice.
Like I said, she'll sympathize with you with the book.
I was going to say, I
put a book down. So
normally I at least speak to our guests when I come up here. And who are you fussing at?
The dogs at the top of the stairs decided to play right there. They have the entire fucking house.
That's funny.
And they're gonna play right outside the door.
I apologize. Normally I sit down, and when it's people I don't know, I'm like, "Hi, I'm so and so. Nice to meet you." And I'm asking questions, and you caught me at a really bad point in the book I'm reading. And yeah. Anyways, I'm okay now. I had a little snack.
That's why I don't read. See, we're good. Here, Katie, I'll help you out.
I hate you, James. You know what? You can go for your walk by yourself tonight. I'm just gonna lose a foot. I'm not going for a walk.
Oh crap! I keep hitting the wrong button.
That's what she said.
Okay. Anyways, how's it going, Jake?
It's going all right. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I need people to understand. He's got ball pythons.
No.
So this is kind of, we get a special check from the government by having people like this.
We do not, because then StreamYard would be paid for not out of my bank account.
That is true.
No.
Yeah, that's true.
You're just trying to appeal to the masses by having somebody on who likes ball pythons.
Or on anybody listening, if you want to join our Patreon, please. I did the math the other day on how much I spend on the podcast every month.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about it on here because we would like to remain married. So don't even go there.
I'm not going to stop spending it. It's going to happen.
No, it's there at this point. It's coming out. It's in the budget, but I did not sign on for that.
I do want to thank Nathan. Nathan just after Nathan did all the stuff for us for the website.
No.
He also became a Patreon member.
He's awesome.
I feel bad. Like he needs to stop getting Nathan. I appreciate
Nathan bought books for my classroom.
He did
last year. I cried when I opened that box. It was the greatest thing. I had the whole freaking series of a set that I wanted for my kids, and they get read all the time. I
don't know, amazing. James. You better be careful with friends like that. Helping out.
I'm not worried. Not worried.
No.
She's dealt with this for 18 years. She's not.
I'm not going anywhere.
She's stuck. All right. So what all do you have? I already mentioned part of it, but let's go ahead and talk about some of the stuff that's non-ball python too.
And let's also talk about where the name came from, since it's Greek.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. No. So we were given our first snake actually back in the very end of 2019. A friend of my wife from college had a ball python. He also had a hognose, but he's kept the hognose, but he was just rehoming because he wasn't in a good spot where he could keep it. So my probably 4-year-old daughter at the time was really into reptiles, and we went to a couple different reptile places in the area. And I don't know if you've ever heard of this. It's pretty big up here, but Clyde Peeling's Reptiland. That's up in PA here, northern PA. But that's like a big reptile place.
Sorry, I forgot you're in PA. I got some stuff I want to talk about later about Pennsylvania. But anyways, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, so that kind of started some of that interest, and then went to, her friend was offering us this ball python, and we're like, well, our daughter really likes it. Let me look into this, because I'm not just going to jump into this crazy thing, even though I wasn't like a snake person, but I wasn't like a hater of snakes or anything like that. But
I get that.
Yeah. So I was an animal person all my life, so I definitely didn't have anything against any kind of animals like that. But
that's good, because a lot of people will be like, I'm an animal person, and then when you mention snakes, they're like, I don't like snakes. Well, then you're not an animal person.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so we got the first ball python, and it was not a very friendly ball python, because he didn't really do anything with it other than keep it and feed it, and sometimes it wouldn't eat, and I don't know what research he had done prior to getting it. But anyways, so we got it, and I was like, well, I'm not going to let my daughter hold this snappy adult snake or whatever. And so we were like, after a little bit of time and looking more into snakes and ball pythons, it led you down the rabbit hole of what actually the ball python hobby and everything like that is. So we ended up getting a second ball python that was a baby. And so at this point, there's like 30 snakes in our house. So from 2019 till now, there's 30 snakes in our house.
Such cute little numbers.
Adorable.
Yeah.
So I have a zoology club at my elementary school. I teach fourth grade English. I'm actually grading rough drafts tonight. I apologize. Anyways, but we had a meeting after school today, and our corn snake was one of the snakes that we brought out. And one of the kids was like, how many animals do you have at your house? And I was like, over 100. I don't actually know the real number. They were like,
you just stopped counting at some point.
I don't even know what you got in there. I'm not, this is going to sound horrible. Every other room in the house, I could tell you what we've got and where, and probably how to take care of it.
Do you know what's in there next to you?
These are the calibars.
Yeah.
But that's only because I didn't know, like last week, the whole podcast, I didn't realize there were snakes literally right here next to me.
3 of them
I'm
over
just
there.
like, okay, cool. I turned around and was like, whoa,
and
there's
one's,
a snake
one's
in here.
sitting right up on top of the hide.
Anywho, if I were to go into his room, I would know a handful of what was in there. And that's about it. And I'd have to open tubs to figure out what was in what tubs, because I don't even know how to read the labels that he has on them.
I need to go through and relabel a bunch of stuff. I've added some stuff since the last time I labeled.
Like the whole point system and like the 1 point whatever. Like, I don't know which side's boys, which side's girls.
Male first, female, and then unknown.
Why isn't it alphabetical?
No, what? Huh?
Why don't females come first?
Do you have to ask that question?
Boy, I will stab you with this purple pen.
I don't know.
In the eyeball.
Probably because of the system made. It was probably a system made by men at some point. I don't know what to tell
probably
you.
True. Like alphabetically, female comes first.
Because they save the best for last, which apparently is unknown, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. That's because the unknown is the last number. But
Oh, that's funny.
you could figure out most of the stuff in there. I mean, it's a safe
You're
bet.
giving me more credit
It's
than
a
I probably
safe bet.
deserve.
If it's in a tub, just say sand boa, and it's probably a sand boa.
True.
So that's, I mean, there's only about like
The more
40 of
important
those.
thing is that if something happens to him, I know who to call about what snakes. That's the important part.
Are you
I have
That's
people. Travis Wyman, I'm
Are you
calling you.
planning on shit happening to me?
Well, if never mind.
She's got contingency plans.
Yeah, him not eating the way he needs to.
Yeah, you know what? That's the wrong button. Wait.
You're gonna lose your foot before I do.
You can get mechanical feet. So
Oh yeah? Well, screw you guys. I'm going home. Oh yeah? Well, screw you.
anyways,
All right, sorry. I'm done bitching tonight, I guess.
so let's get into the name and then we'll get back into the collection. So you decided I really want to name my company something that no one can pronounce.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they're like, I went to a show and I saw that table with, you know, the O people.
Yep.
Is that your
The little
logo
snake
on
thingy.
on the wall behind you?
Yeah.
That is
that's
a
the logo we
cool
got.
logo, though.
Thank you. That was a combination effort of mine and my wife's. So we kind of
Very
Made it happen.
simplistic and clean.
So let's get into the name. And then I do want to get into the logo because there's some things I do want to talk about because you are kind of new and starting out. And well, we'll get into some of that. So the name first.
Yeah. So the name, my brother, older brother, the more intelligent older brother, he has the vocabulary that none of us other siblings combined have. So he threw out the phrase that, well, at some point we're going to have an Ophidiarium of our own over at our house or whatever. So I was like, well, what is an Ophidiarium?
Yeah, I
He's like, I don't know, look it up. And I was like, why do you even know what this word is? So I looked it up and I was like, yeah, that's actually kind of cool. So I mean, it's literally just snake and house.
House, yeah.
So it's just snake house.
Yeah, because like the
It
fear
worked.
of snakes is oh shit, what is it?
I got nothing.
I didn't know it. I'm gonna look it up.
Although I did almost give a teacher a heart attack this afternoon. It was unintentional.
Ophidiophobia.
Yeah, Ophidiophobia. Yep.
Which is the fear of snakes. So I knew it was snake.
Yeah.
Cool,
But you're
cool.
right. Like I didn't want to have a name that was too common or too
Jake's balls.
generic.
You don't want to do it?
Yeah,
It's just-
no. Or
Fucking
holy
hate it.
balls or whatever you want. Yeah. It just
Oh yeah, you could have done that even.
You wanted your daughter to be able to work your table and not have a name like that to deal with.
yeah.
I'll
I didn't
say
want
it.
my mom to be like, wait, what did you name?
The problem is in 2023, there is no originality when you're making a corny name with balls at the end of it.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
It's all been done. You're copying someone or just doing a version of somebody else's funny name with balls.
Yeah.
And it just proves to me that you don't have like serious aspirations of being a breeder. You just
Yeah.
thought
But
it was
it's
funny.
funny.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Well, we're all immature, so yeah. But
The-
yeah, like sorry about names and stuff like that. I had a point. I can't remember what it was now. Go ahead.
We float around. It's fine.
Story of
You'll come
my
back to it later. I
life.
swear. But I like the logo. The couple things I like about the logo. One, it's a snake house.
It's so.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Oh, it is. Okay, I see that
Jesus
now.
Christ, Katie.
I see it. I just saw like the Greek leaves and it was green and it was a snake. And
Bazinga.
I hate you.
There's
I hate
layers
you
to
for
it.
it.
There's layers. Yeah.
I
It's
like
like
it.
an onion. It's got layers.
I like that it's simplistic.
Like a parfait.
James has been
Nobody
on
don't like parfaits.
James has been on a tangent for the last 24 hours about people that don't have simplistic logos.
So I've started printing stickers, and I had somebody reach out to me because they want stickers. They didn't have a logo, but they had a name in this little script on like a plaid background
and
like,
an
oh.
idea. They
Mhm.
had an idea.
Yeah, like, and they were like, I want it rustic and western. I was like, okay, rustic. So I went with like their name on top of like
But what I consider rustic is not apparently what she did.
Well, I
because
did it
she
on-
didn't like it.
I did it on like the backdrop was like a white panel fence, like whitewashed fence, and then their logo over top of that in turquoise, which I think western, I think turquoise.
Sure.
I'm like,
yeah.
it's simple, it's clean, it's easy to read. She sent me, how about this? And she sent me this picture of like this, like super detailed. Like I was like, you realize when I put words on top of that, you won't see the words. Like it's not gonna.
And then she goes, okay, what about cow print?
Which is way easier. I just did cow print. It's fine, but
It's
Why not like
super cute.
Longhorns or something like that? Or,
But I mean,
you know.
I feel like the one you had originally was much more classy.
Well, that's the thing. It drives me nuts seeing people's logos. Like, I like your logo. I like the olive leaves. I mean, it's Greek, and then and it comes from. So I get that, and it's a snake house. It's simple. It's a logo you can put on anything.
Yep.
No one has to try and stare at to figure out what it is. The only tricky thing is working your name into it on certain things.
Yeah.
A long name.
Not really, because he could totally just curve it along the outside of the leaf.
Or above it. I would do above it.
Yeah, we have some different concept designs we put together. We don't really have any stickers or anything like that yet, or business cards. We have a couple of those that we came up with, but
I see lots of people, and they make all of this art for the logo. And I'm like, that is not the place for art. If you want to do that, make a sticker to give away at your table.
Says the creator of a podcast
who
used art for his logo for the first year. Or more.
No, but that's true. I use a tattoo artist to make it. I still love that logo.
Oh, I do too.
But it is a complicated logo for putting on stuff. The new logo is much more simple.
You see, I had the benefit of that same older brother with the better vocabulary than me. He also works as a graphic design artist, and he is an artist on the side too. Like, he's just very good, very talented. So I grew up around him. He's 11 years older than me, but I grew up around him, watching him write.
Who was the Oops baby?
Who was the Oops baby? Well, I'm not the last of the last.
Oh, usually when there's a huge gap, either someone had one baby way too early that they didn't plan on, or they had one baby way too late they didn't plan on.
No, there's 6 of us, so it was
too many.
Yeah,
7 of us.
That's still too many. You say 7.
Well, there's 6 of us.
And 2 of them she didn't give birth to.
No, but they lived with us growing up, so they totally counted.
But they lived with y'all once they were older. She didn't have to change diapers.
Well, she didn't have to. They changed our diapers.
I get that. But see, that's built-in babysitting.
They're 8 and 12 years older than us.
That's built-in babysitting.
His older brother that he's talking about is the same age difference between my older sibling.
But that's not the same as his mom's vagina had to deal with 6 kids.
He does not want to hear us talk about this. I'm going to need you to stop.
That's a lot of kids coming out of It's a lot of kids.
They could have been C-section. Who are you to judge right now?
That's true. There'd be better options for dad.
What the hell is wrong with you tonight?
I'm just thinking logically.
Jake, I apologize for this man. I do not claim on this man.
What? It's something you have to worry about. Thank God you had a C-section. Anyways.
Just one kid.
And one kid.
My wife had 3 C-sections, so yeah.
Mine slept through the night at 2 months old, and I was afraid that the next one would not. So we have one.
I just realized they were expensive, so I said we're having one.
And she's currently feeding herself downstairs because she texted me, "Hey, this is what I'm making for dinner." I said, "Okay, go." I offered to feed her earlier. She was not hungry.
They're always not hungry when you offer food. They're only hungry at bedtime. Hey, what's for dinner? That thing you had 3 hours ago when it was dinner time.
God.
Right before you brush your teeth. I'm hungry. Yeah.
She'll do it. She'll come
at 10 o'clock. Hey, what's for dinner? I'm like, we sat down, we ate dinner all together. Remember that? Oh, that was dinner? I was like, it was at 7.
A meal.
I mean, it was
7 p.m. What do you expect it to be?
Oh, kids. Snakes are so much easier.
Yeah, once a week you worry about them. Or once every week.
Or once a month or whenever you think about it.
Yeah.
Anyways. So, all right. So you are now sitting at roughly 40-ish animals, but you are predominantly ball pythons.
Predominantly. Yep. I have a pair of...
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say you haven't seen the light yet. But anyways, what else? You have a pair of what?
I have a pair of Popon Carpets. And then I have...
For the older people listening, that's IJs.
Yes, IJs or
Harrisoni,
right?
Oh, earring eyes. I can't call them pop. It just feels weird. I'm used to saying IJs. And then at the same time as they changed over to Popon pythons, then Popwins became popular. Yeah. And you had a completely different python.
Yeah, not
with the same name. I'm like, this is just confusing for people.
I've seen and talked with Owen McIntyre from Morelli Python Radio a couple times at shows and stuff. And one of the first times I said, "Oh, I have some Popon Carpets," and he's like, "Popwins," and I was like, "No, Popon Carpets." He's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, those are a big snake." He's like, "There's a difference there."
A little bit.
Yeah, they're drastically different. But I like IJs. They're a weird one, and I will probably give Eric Burke all the credit for where they're at now.
Yeah.
Because they used to just be a dirt snake. They're the ugly ass brown carpet. They were like, oh, they're just the small carpet. They're the carpet, they're small, but they're all brown and ugly. But they have a lot of colors. He did on why can I not think of, and Billy Hunt also did a lot with bringing them in. But I saw some pictures of yours after they shed on Instagram, and man, they tons of color. Like it took me a second to realize, that is an IJ, and it's not just brown and slightly yellowish.
Yeah, no, they're really nice pair. The ones like let me try to think. The one I got they both came to me through one person, but they were bred by, the female was from Stephen Katz out in California, and then the male was bred by Jacob Bratz.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
Yep.
I know all of those names.
Yep.
And
so,
I've hit Jacob Bratz in the nuts with a beanbag.
Oh my God.
He was too drunk to remember.
So
It's fine.
drunk that night. I remember that now. That was fun. We should go to another.
Yeah, that was before COVID.
That was before COVID.
And then the world changed and nothing's fun anymore. That was like a month before
I was gonna
COVID.
say, that was a month before everything shut down.
Oh man, we were in Disney World when the world shut down. Like in Disney World.
We just came back from.
We had just come back from. We were in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And they were like, the state of Louisiana was claiming that's where it all started the weekend prior, and I'm like, fuck, we were there.
And all the people we know were like, I don't feel good. I'm like, ah, shit, what's wrong with everybody?
Yep.
But so you got in. You're basically a COVID person though. For the hobby, you're one of those people that got in around COVID time and when
just
things
before. Were, yep, right around then. Yeah.
Did you use your COVID money on snakes?
No.
Oh, okay. You were responsible.
There you go.
You know how I know you're not one someone that did that? Because you're not currently selling your entire collection on Facebook.
Right.
That is the number one thing right now. If someone you watch selling entire collection, I'm like, you got it in 2020, didn't you? That's what happened.
Yep. No, I've seen so many of those lately too. That's crazy.
It's
tempting though, but then not tempting at the same time.
I've said before, I was like, man, I've thought where like I can just get rid of everything and then I don't have to clean cages anymore or take care of anything. And I'm like, but then what would I do? Like, that's a big part of my life. If I just got rid of reptiles, although, like I said last week, I would get rid of everything for a Chinese alligator. So if we could make that happen, Katie, just go steal me a Chinese alligator.
I already told you no.
No. You told me yes to a Chinese alligator.
I told you I wouldn't steal one from Chris.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to steal one from Chris Dieter myself.
No, you have to obtain it legally.
But they're expensive and there's paperwork.
Quit whining.
I want one. Anyways.
Where's that let it go button?
I'm not letting
Push that let it go button, James.
You don't have the buttons.
I don't have the buttons.
You know what?
It's probably a good thing I don't have the buttons. It's a good thing you've already eaten dinner, because I have a feeling by the time this is over, I would not be cooking for you.
That's what she said.
It is literally what she said.
I know. You know what?
Oh, Jesus.
This is a lot of. How did I forget that this thing does sounds? This is.
You cannot use them next week. This week you have
yes,
to be professional.
No, we'll talk about that later. Anyways, so have you been? When did you start breeding? You got into stuff in 19, and then you did the whole thing where, oh shit, you got a bunch of them quickly.
Yeah.
When did you start breeding?
Well, this season was our second season of breeding, so we ended up getting like 3 or 4 that first year of getting snakes. And then they were all babies, of course. And then I saw somebody advertised for a couple of subadults that were close to breeding size or about to be breeding size. And then I got those, and that is the female from there was a GHI Mojave Hypo, and she was the dam to the first clutch that we had last year, 2022. And then this year, 2023, I had 1 clutch as well. So 2 clutches.
When you got into them, how did you decide which morphs you want to start with? Because I mean, did you just go, hey, which brown is the prettiest brown?
No. I mean, some of them are brown, but
so many of them are brown.
No. Especially mine, because I'm definitely playing the het game, because I don't have a lot of funds to get a lot of visual genes expressed in all the different snakes and stuff. But yeah.
If you stick with it, you can get there. It's the problem is everybody gets out of it after like 3 or 4 years. Like, I didn't make anything. I was like, well, because you didn't do anything.
Yeah. What do you expect? Yeah.
Especially when people buy a collection and then keep them for a couple of years. This animal's now switched places. It's gone to a new home. You're like, why does this thing not breed the first year? I'm like, because it's not going to breed the first year all the time.
Yeah.
You haven't had any. If you've had all your things you've bred and got clutches from, they've all been healthy.
Yeah. 100% hatch rate. No issues with any of the snakes. They've all thrived and all that good stuff.
You haven't had negative stuff yet.
No.
Well, don't put that juju on it. What's wrong with you?
It's not juju. It's bound. Something is bound to happen.
I mean, the most negative thing is when I had gotten a pair of emerald tree boas, and the female needed to be euthanized because it was not healthy. So that was probably the most negative thing I've had to deal with.
Straight imports.
Yeah, they were both imports.
Yeah,
that's what it was from. That's the learning curve of only being a year and a half or so into.
You were like, it's pretty, it's green. I want one.
Yeah. This one's cheaper over here.
It happens to everybody. And especially for emeralds, because like for captive bred emeralds, they are expensive. But man, there's so much less headache than the wild caught ones.
The male's been great though. He's a year and a half now that we've had him almost, and I mean he hasn't missed a meal. He hasn't had any issues with regurgitation, so he's solid. Feel really good about him, but.
My favorite arboreal snake is the emerald. I just love the face.
Yeah, it's just like that. It's like a old reptile species looking thing.
I've just always thought that they have the best scientific name. It explains their face. I've always thought their face to me looks like a bulldog.
I was just going to say they have that bulldog jaw.
And their genus or their species name is Canis. So it's just like they're like, it looks like a dog. We're gonna name it a dog. And then it's got gnarly teeth. Have you seen your yawn or anything yet?
Oh yeah, and then like my wife is like, after I got them, she's like, "Wait, you didn't tell me that their teeth are that big." She's like looking up pictures on Google. She's like, Jake, what did we get into here?" It was great. I was like,
"Go ahead." I'm sorry.
No, and then my father-in-law was like, "Well, those are venomous. What are you doing with that? You better be careful around the girls with that." I'm like, "They're not venomous. They just have big fangs."
How many people in your family have asked you if you're going to get rid of snakes because you have the kids?
But though he got the snakes after he had kids.
It doesn't matter. There's still family members that will say, "Are you going to get rid of those?"
No, my wife's grandmother, when she heard that we got snakes, she's like, "Well, you know that those things are very dangerous. You got to be very careful." Talking about when we had a little baby ball python, I'm like, "No, we'll be okay. Yeah, we'll be fine. I know what we're."
It's gonna lay down next to your kid and size her up, and then wait a few months and then eat her. That's
when I was pregnant with our daughter, who's almost 13. We had lots of family members want to know when we were going to start rehoming stuff, just because I was pregnant.
I mean, I'll start getting rid of family members before I get rid of snakes.
No,
that's funny.
I'm not getting rid of my dog. Why would I get rid of something I keep in a cage all the time, like a snake?
Yeah.
So what now is your direction that you're going? What gene? Not that I'll know what it looks like because I only know a handful of them. But what gene do you think is the one you want to work with as far as the ball pythons go?
There's probably two major projects, if you want to call it that I'm kind of focusing around currently, and that's hypo clown, which is not the most outlandish type of thing. Mixing in some incomplete dominant genes with those, but the other one would be the black lace project, and getting like a highway black lace project going that way. Gravel, yellow belly, black lace. Black lace is a recessive gene, so that's the layers to it. But yeah.
Just for the record, when you type in black lace to Google, you get all kinds of stuff. If you don't finish out with ball python. Ooh.
I don't mind clown. I can look at that and go, "Hey, that snake's different." My problem
is you're not gonna like the black lace.
It's just fucking normal ball python.
It's pretty normal. It's just dark.
It's
gene,
darker.
Yeah.
Like it's.
So it just makes it with hypo and cancel out.
It's not you.
I need shit to look different.
See, and it almost, to me, it makes the darker colors look more vibrant on it.
Yeah.
It's more of a me snake, not a you snake.
Yeah. Again, it will look its best. at 6 months old. And then it's all downhill.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I got carpet pythons going. You know?
See, and those look better as they age. And then you got really smart and got boas because they don't lay eggs.
Right. You don't have to worry about it.
Darren Watson said, was the first ball python a wild type or was it a morph? I'm sure if you ask somebody, it was probably a morph or a dinker projects. And I don't know if anybody still uses that around, but
Oh, it's used. Yeah.
everybody's, it's a dinker project. No, it's just weird incubation. Your snake looks weird. It's fine. It's going to give you normal babies. Calm the fuck down. But I've said before, I don't hate ball pythons. I hate in general ball python people, and not all ball python people. So I'm like, I'll hate you, Jake. I just hate the really fucking annoying ball python bros who think they're genetics wizards after like getting a D in high school biology and not understanding how to even spell Punnett square. And they want to try and
I probably got a D in high school for biology.
See, I don't like it. That's just the biology teacher in me. He's like, hey, what a waste. No, but you've met those people that are just like, they're so full of themselves and they haven't done a serious fucking thing in their life. I get it. You bought some ball pythons. You got lucky enough that they fucked in a closet and made you some brown ball pythons. You're not God's gift to the world. Calm down.
No, yeah. I definitely don't view myself as having near the experience and I don't know what you want to call it. I don't have a lot to put to my name right now because I have not done much.
But it's like the person in the group that asked Justin Kabilka, told Justin Kabilka he didn't know what he was talking about in a ball python group. And then they kicked him out of a ball python group. Those are the people I can't stand. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Shut up. Or the guy, well, this leads to who we're having on next week, but the guy that told Warren Booth once asked him what he knew about genetics. Like the doctor, he's not. So those are the people that drive me nuts. But anyways, I do want to go into the 2 questions and then some other stuff, but we asked a couple of questions this week.
Holy moly.
What?
The questions this week.
Well, they all hopped on one. They didn't hop on the one that I was hoping they would.
Yeah, I noticed that it was all
the other one.
on one question.
But it's fine. It's fine. It's a good question. And I do want to go through those. But some in-depth answers there. So our first question was, should a breeder be responsible for vetting customers? And if so, what's the best way to vet them? And we've mentioned this quite a bit on here and there, but it's always interesting because we get a lot of new people in and hear interesting what people say. So let's go through. I'll go through a few answers first. God, everybody wrote a fucking novel here.
You want me to pull it up and help?
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah.
I read some of those too. They were pretty good.
They're good, but man, let's see. John Feely. We know John Feely. 100% believe so and do to everyone. He does to everyone before they buy. I get experience level, how they plan to house the animal, why they want to purchase it, i.e. pet or breeding. I ask how I can help along the journey. May not be the best, but it's what I do. And I try to stay in touch and do periodic checkups for the first year.
Who did you just read?
John Feely.
What question are you on?
The one I just read out loud. That one.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
I don't see John's answer.
It's sitting. It was a day ago. It's right here in front of me because you got to go up here.
I did. I did.
I don't know what to tell you then. I got nothing for you. I'm looking at it.
Are you on the discussion board? Or are you on the podcast page?
It's the only place I post them.
I don't ever do this. I don't know how it works.
Well, I'm telling you it's there because I did not just make up John Feely's response, but did. That's interesting, John. I hope that my made up response.
Oh, here he is.
Oh, how about that?
He's like, okay, never mind.
Wait for it.
I hate you.
Anyways, do you want to read Danielle's?
Sure.
Danielle decided to write a novel there.
She said, absolutely. They're selling an animal, not an inanimate object. I think they have a moral obligation to ensure that those animals are going to a home willing to do right by that animal. Asking basic questions should be enough to know whether someone is ready for the animal they're selling and if they're willing to learn what they need to. If they don't, then they run the risk of the animals that they bothered to bring in the world going into homes that are going to stunt them or neglect them, arguably, which could be the same thing, or worse. And that's just not okay. She actually knows someone that is a quote unquote experienced keeper, has many different species, and genuinely knows diddly squat about the animals that she keeps and how to properly keep them. And talking to her for just 5 seconds would clue any knowledgeable person in a home with her that it would be a bad home.
Yeah, but someone that doesn't know will listen to someone like that and take them at
this is how it should be.
Yeah, which is another concern we tend to have. Let's see. Our friend Brittany Nicole Deason from Repticulture says yes. And conversation. My God, Brittany, you can't type.
She said it should have been any conversation. It doesn't take anything crazy just to get a feel. Just a simple conversation will take. I can read Brittany. I understand
I'm
what
glad
she's going
because
for.
that is not what she
She
typed.
said most of the time people can out themselves pretty fast. Like if they either know what they're talking about or they don't. And if you know what you're supposed to be listening for, you can figure it out pretty quick.
Yeah, what she said.
I got her.
Ish said, personally, I had to ask some basic questions to get a feel for the customer's experience and capability to properly care for an animal. With that being said, I'm fortunate to work with a niche species where everyone in the community knows everyone. So in that aspect, I know that any animal going to them would be in capable hands. Which
he's a carpet guy. He's a
yeah.
cool guy.
Yeah.
Brad John said that snakes are his main
You are
interest.
not reading all of his, are you?
No. I was going to give you the Cliff Notes.
Okay. Do you have the Cliff Notes yet? Because you just opened it up. You have no idea what that giant paragraph says.
As I was saying before, if you press that button, so help me God, James Lewis. Stop it. Just for that, I ought to read the whole thing.
Don't read the whole thing.
Brad said snakes are his main interest. So his answer really focused heavy on how he feels about snakes, but he feels like it could also translate into other reptiles. He feels that the level of experience the person has and what they plan on doing with the snake, is it a pet, is it for breeding, should determine the direction that your conversation needs to go.
No.
And I think he's right though. For example, if they're looking to get a yellow or green anaconda, that's going to be a completely different mind frame than if you're getting something much easier to take care of. Responsible breeding should be where the example starts.
Yeah.
Did you like my Cliff Notes, James?
That one doesn't fit.
I am not a fan of Dallas and Manda right now. Fucking Lord.
What? Sorry, were you saying something? Anyways, Nathan Holcomb said, I would say yes to a degree, and most of it should or could be done by casual conversation. And most of the other answers are the same thing. Most people say yes. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I kind of full disclosure, selfishly put those questions out there because I kind of want to know what people's opinions on how they do it, because I'm not in the position where I've had to sell or start selling anything yet. But in the future, that's going to be something that I'm going to have to deal with. How am I going to balance what I think is going to be a good decision to sell to somebody or not? What's going to be that cutoff? Where would I draw the line? It's interesting.
So we've had this conversation, and I definitely think yes, but I'll play devil's advocate here and say, or I'll point out some things. Some people may say yes, but once certain situations happen, what they're willing to do changes, right? So
That makes sense.
once they have 4 or 5 clutches or litters of snakes sitting on a table that they're having to pay for at a hotel, they had to pay for the weekend and gas to get there and food to eat, and they still got to buy rodents to feed the rest of the snakes at home, they may be willing to sell a few to someone who just comes up and doesn't know anything, but they're willing to hand them $400, right? And people will go, well, if you can't take care of them, you shouldn't breed them. I get that, and that's easy to say. And at the moment when they bred them, and at the moment when they were born, they could, and everything was great. And then things happen, like going to the grocery store now will cost you $100 instead of $50.
Screw that instead of 25. What are you talking about?
So things change. And I'm not saying that you should do that and just sell to whoever, but it happens. And so I think some people on high horses sometimes. You'll see a lot of people that answer these questions, and I'm not talking about our listeners, but they'll have a response that have never had to sell an animal or get rid of a whole clutch of animals so they can make room for whatever else, or buy rodents, or do, they own five snakes and they're telling people how they should run their business and sell stuff. But with that said, I do have a conversation with everyone that I sell for the most part. I sell Samboas, and almost anybody can take care of a Sambo. It's not a tricky species. It's not an emerald tree. Like that's so. Here's my other thing. I'm assuming you bought your emeralds either online or at a show.
Online. Yep.
Online.
Outback Reptile. Yep.
Oh God.
Yeah.
See, and that's.
Sorry, maybe I should have thrown that out there.
No, you can throw that. Fuck it. Everybody knows that. But that's a problem. Like you order 2 emerald green. Jesus Christ, I can't tell it. Emerald tree boas. Yep. They're just going to mail them to you. They're not going to ask you, "Hey, you do understand what these are, right?" They're just going to go, "Oh, they're giving us money. Let's get them out of here before they get sick or die."
Yeah, they have one little thing on their website where it says in the description of the animal, where it's like, if you ask about the temperament of this animal, or if you ask about something along that lines, like simple, basic questions that somebody who's experienced wouldn't be asking. So like, we will not sell this to you, and I'm like, well, that's fine and dandy, you put that up there, but somebody can just read that and then not ask those questions.
now they're not going to ask you, "Hey, is humidity an issue here?
Yeah.
Do they need water?" Like that's a way. To me, that feels like a cop out as a way to go, all right, good. They're not going to say the things that we should see as red flags, so we can just sell them and say we asked them about it. And that's a problem. You go to a lot of shows too. Tables that have things like emeralds, or I've always said that we've got like file snakes or sunbeam snakes or those random imports. And I'm not an anti-import person. I know lots of people that do imports. Some of the snakes over here to the left of me were originally imports. But there's a way to do those. And the problem is you were someone who got into the hobby and you're like, "These are cool snakes. I really want these."
Yeah.
And you don't have the knowledge everybody else has of going, "Ugh, don't do it."
Don't get it from them. Yeah.
And then but the problem also comes is, especially with the world of social media and Facebook, is someone may post that question, but they're not really posting the question. They're just trying to get someone to agree with what they already want to do. And so when you're like, "Hey, maybe that's not the species you want to start with. Maybe you want to," then they tear into the person trying to help them out.
You don't know me. You can't make decisions for me. I do what I want.
I've had a corn snake. I can take care of a green anaconda. So, but
is that what you're talking about, James?
Yes.
Was that a good example?
That is exactly what happens.
Yeah, I'm listening.
It's exactly what happens online.
I was afraid people were going to think I wasn't listening.
But Jake fell into that hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh, but wrong one. Wait for it. Is this? Nope, that's not it.
You don't know.
I got to figure out where these are all at. What is this one? I forgot that was on here. You know what? Those places that sell all that stuff, just see?
Yeah,
that's all it is.
That was really loud. Let's not do that one again.
You know why? I gotta alter some volume on these things. I'm sidetracked now, but it's fun. Anybody need to pick me up? Does it not get your blood going?
It does, actually.
That is.
It's a beautiful.
That's what everyone feels when they walk into the reptile room. That's when your door opens. That should play as soon as you walk into your reptile room.
Do I need to figure out how to make that happen for you?
Freaking
Is that
amazing.
a birthday present right there?
Every time you walk in.
Jake, I apologize because normally we're not this all over the place.
That's not true.
We don't
No,
have
you're
the
good.
buttons.
That is not
You're
true.
I feel like you're so much more unprofessional.
He just likes to
with
push your buttons. Yeah.
all the time.
Oh, there's just this is the best one. Oh, why did I press the wrong button? Hold on.
Wrong,
Nope.
wrong, wrong, wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Wrong, wrong.
Yes.
Oh my god.
For a little scrub reference for anybody out there. But going back to the question, what is your opinion on this when it comes to what is up to the breeder? What should the breeder be responsible for as far as vetting? How deep do they need to go?
Well, my opinion, you're asking, right?
Yeah.
In a new person's position. I mean, the experiences I've had thus far are mostly have been getting animals at reptile shows and then one or two animals off the line. But for the most part, nobody's really ever prodded with any questions. So like to see that from the front end and then get into it and kind of think a little bit more, and you're just like, what would be responsible? Like minimal is to mention those basic husbandry things, come up with some kind of a written thing you can hand to somebody and speak to it and explain it real quick if they're a new person or whatever. We kind of already put something together like that. My wife and I typed something up and went through probably one of the more detailed husbandry charts or whatever you want to call it for just specifically ball pythons. Not everything we have, but I think that's important. I think also I want to eventually get some kind of a library of video clips of just going over, explaining basic stuff, which you can find it all over the internet if you actually look for it. But if I have something that I know I put together, I would feel a lot more comfortable making sure that I could say, hey, this is our card, here's our YouTube or whatever, with a library of different videos, basic little 5-minute clips. Like I don't want to go into, I don't have a desire to get into Facebook or YouTube to get like millions and millions of views, but it would be very helpful as a tool to use like that. I thought about eventually, not right away.
That's really cool. That's a cool idea.
So I told you I wanted to redo my snake room.
Yeah.
And so I want to put everything on one wall, and I want to do all 4-foot cage. I want to build stands. All my racks go under the stands. All my cages on top of the stands. And I was thinking, man, that would be a great backdrop. I would really like start doing species specific videos, just like little 5-minute videos. I've got several different species of snakes. It would be fun to do just, hey, this is what it is. I do have a care sheet that I give, and care sheets are tricky. Yeah. Right. There's so many out there and so many with bad info and people just don't know the difference.
I got a stapled packet when I got my chameleon.
With the Reddies are different. They're weird. You can't don't compare people to Amanda and Lee.
Oh, whatever.
But the problem also comes with some of those is that people see a care sheet and that becomes gospel to them.
That's true.
And you can't tell them any different because it's really the world we live in, but we live in a world of definites. Everything has to be one way. And anybody that's kept reptiles or done anything for a period of time knows there's a million ways to do stuff in your hobby. Yep. And so I have a care sheet for all my sand boas and for my boas when I sell them, but I make sure to go, look, these are just to help get you started. If you have questions, let me know. There's other things you can do. But I don't want them to send them away empty handed because a lot of times I am selling sand boas, and sand boas do tend to go to first time snake buyers. Yeah. And they don't think of what questions they need to ask. And sometimes, as much as I try, I forget some of the things I need to tell them because so I want to make sure they go home with something.
Right. I think that's important. And I mean, to speak specifically to like what you're saying there, when we got our first ball python from my wife's friend, it was in a 40-gallon glass aquarium with a fogger, mister, and the whole 9 yards. And he explained all these different things he read on forums, and he gave us all the different information.
Which is definitely one way you can keep those animals.
Right.
But not the only way you can keep them. And
I'll just say that animal didn't eat consistently.
Yeah.
Didn't behave the most nicest or whatever you want to call it. But then
it was probably constantly scared.
Probably. Yeah. And just, yeah. And he had like a bioactive tank, which is fine, but we kept it in it for a while, but eventually it kept going off of feed or whatever for like 3 or 4 months, which isn't the end of the world. I think at one point it actually went like 8 months almost. And I was like, this is interesting. And I'm reading more stuff about, I'm like, why would my friend have told me some of this information? Because what I'm reading doesn't match everything he's told me, and talking to people too. And so we ended up putting him in a tub, and he's eaten consistently for me. I decreased his
tubs are horrible, Jake. That can't be true.
I know. I felt really bad when I put him in it too.
It's animal cruelty. No one go look at my snake room. Ignore all the tubs in my snake room.
Yeah. But like he's started shedding more consistently in full sheds, and he ate more consistently. I also backed off offering him food every week, but also now he's on like every other week, and he eats and doesn't go off food now. So
well,
it's a learning curve, but
and there's so much information out there, and some of it is very pet driven, anthropomorphic type stuff, right?
We talked about that today. One of my second graders wanted to know if my snake likes me, and I was like, well, they actually don't have that part of their brain. So you might want them to like you, but they really don't care as long as they have food and
They
water.
tolerate you. They're not afraid of you.
And that's what I told
the
her.
best you can hope
I
for
said,
is
you
to not
can
be
look,
afraid.
and I'm for those of you watching, I'm holding my hand up because that at this point in the program, my corn snake was just like wrapped around my arm, chilling. And I'm like, she's not stressed out. She's not upset. She's enjoying herself. She's enjoying the company and the fact that my arm is so warm right now. I said, but she doesn't love me like I want her
and
to.
And a lot of that is also species specific.
Yeah.
Like we talked on here before, like if you hold an indigo or like my pine snake, there's more going on upstairs.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not an offense. This is not a bad thing about ball, but then a ball python, right? I mean, people have held a ball python and never looked in their eyes and gone, this thing is really smart.
Well, and so
I'll say the same thing about my samboas. I've never looked at one of my samboas and gone,
no.
genius animal right here.
Well, and then you also look at other species other than snakes. Like
Yeah,
I have a box turtle,
There's
and
way more going on there.
well, and we had her out. She was walking around in a circle, and there's a little boy that I take to his mom's school. She works at a different school this year every afternoon, and he comes into my classroom every afternoon and always goes to her cage, opens the door, scratches on her back, and speaks to her. Today in the circle, she would make a beeline to him every time.
Yeah.
It was one of the coolest things that.
Well, we have giant
And he was
tortoises
like,
and
"She likes me." I'm like, "She
we've seen that
obviously
behavior.
does,
We've seen
man."
that behavior with big tortoises.
Yeah, I've just never seen her do it. So it
Erica
was cool.
McVeigh's in the chat. They've got a bunch of monitors. Monitors are a completely different idea than. So I mean, there is, but you look at some of these care sheets, and they're written very much of, if I was a snake, this is what I would want. And I'm
like Erica McVeigh said, they're all recycled versions of each other.
Yeah.
No.
It just as a breeder, I feel better when we give them one, because then I can say I tried.
But that's the other problem, is sometimes you have the extreme breeder version of a care sheet, which is also not what a mom and her kid buying their first pet snake probably need to see as well.
Yeah.
Right. There's got to be some middle ground, and they need to understand that there's a lot of room for interpretation on how you set an animal up. But there are some basic things you need to meet, temperature. They need to feel secure. They need to have water. Some basic stuff you got to have.
No.
And as long as you meet those, everything else, you can do whatever you want.
No.
Unless you put chameleons on plastic plants, and then the chameleon hobby
They'll
will
all
tell you you're fucking
crucify
horrible.
you.
So,
Is that a no-no?
oh my God, dude.
I thought they were going to show up at my house with a cross to
They're like,
crucify
you're going
me
to
on.
poison
I'm
your
not
animal. It's
kidding.
going to die. This thing, they're like,
It
it's going
was
to eat
so
these leaves. I'm like,
bad.
it has not eaten a single plastic leaf since it's been in there. It's still alive. Calm the fuck down.
It was so bad.
But, oh, man, they were. So you've, again, fairly new to the hobby. You've hit some of the issues that have happened. Like we talked about the emerald tree boas. You got them. The male has worked out for you now, but again, you went through. And look, when I started my first, and I've said it on here before, my first snake was my Brazilian rainbow boa.
Yeah.
It's a fucking horrible first pet snake. I don't know how he survived 20 years. I don't know. Like we screwed up a lot of shit with him in the beginning. Put him in a 20-gallon tank with a screen lid, and then we had to realize, oh shit, that's drying out too quick. And we went through I don't know how many different cages. But unfortunately, not everybody has that. Luckily, you had the good thing happen with the emeralds, but you also had the bad thing. And a lot of people only have the bad thing, and that leaves a bad taste in their mouth. But again, in that situation, the person you bought it from was going to sell you whatever you wanted as long as you had money, right? And do you think you're buying a lot of ball pythons at shows? Do you think maybe you're not getting that more in-depth vetting from breeders because there are 70 other tables at the shows of ball pythons that they're competing against, and they don't want to risk you walking away and going over there to buy one from so-and-so?
It's quite possible. Yeah, for sure. That's a possibility. I think most of the guys I have gotten snakes from have been pretty decent people, and I've been able to follow up with questions if I had them. Mm-hmm. And they're available. There's one who he actually has his own Facebook group that he moderates or whatever, where people who probably never bought snakes from him ask questions and they answer questions. So they're a pretty decent, reputable person. But yeah.
I just think in shows there's, and it's gotten that way a lot. Again, the economy's rough, but there's a lot of competition in certain things, especially in ball pythons, crested geckos, things that are more common. And sometimes people just don't want to risk asking too many questions of someone and scaring them off and not making a sell. And it's tricky. So, Yes, I do think though there should be some vetting. You got to talk to you are giving them a live animal, like I say, you're selling them a live animal.
No.
So you do got to ask some questions. Just, I want to look at the other questions, and this one only got like a couple of answers, but I like this one a lot. What are the do's and don'ts that new breeders should consider when establishing their name and brand? And we kind of talked about some of it at the beginning, but I want to go into some more. Our friend Corey Martin said, "Be a great customer. People like." Corey's a very smart person. I just don't feel this is written.
She's traveling a lot right now, and she's also traveling with her mom. So
be a great customer person.
She may not have been sleeping a lot.
Be a great customer people like working with. Gotcha. Duh. Okay.
Oh no, that was 100% the reader error on that sentence.
I disagree. I blame Corey for everything. Develop real relationships with people you encounter in the hobby. Be humble and be willing to learn. Don't worry about growing a brand. Truly, no one cares. Focus your attention on learning your animals. All the rest will come in time. Which is an awesome answer. And I expect no less from Corey. And then we had a few here on Instagram. Hands of Jeff, who we got our amazing logo from. Your branding should match your attitude. It gives people an impression of what to expect. Like Eric said above, which I'll get to in a second. Focus on the animals, but also use a name and branding that reinforces your professionalism, which I think is important. We can talk about that. We talked a little bit about that, but we'll go in depth there. And then I'm going to mess with Bazooka Ectotherms. Unpopular opinion, don't focus on your brand. Focus on the animals and the projects that you are passionate about. Focus on yourself for the love of the hobby. Eventually, your dedication will infect others and spread like wildfire. There's some more here. Do what you personally like instead of following the crowd, and try and come up with something original. Everyone has some alternative of XXX Python or X and X Exotics or XXX Morphs. Pick something that stands out. So a lot of that's what kind of some of the stuff we talked about earlier. With like your logo and your name. I chose my name in like 2004 or whatever for my company.
Not rebranding that shit.
No, I'm not either.
Okay.
I like Simply Serpents. It's a very simple name. It tells you exactly what it is. And I use very simple logo. It is the name and the S's are snakes. That's it. That's all there is. And I did rebrand the logo a few years back, which I like. It was nice and clean.
Though. I like it.
But some people, where was the one here? I thought about it. So when Jeff said your branding should match your attitude, yes, and no. No.
I get that.
I get it, but some people put a lot of attitude into that logo, into that name. And
but then when you see them like at a table, they've got like spikes everywhere.
But that's
cool
cool
shit, and that's the brand.
But if their name is hard to read from across the room because there's so much going on with their logo and their name,
I get what you're saying.
Like that's not good. Clean is good. Like, look, the best example I can give is when we see David from I'm brain just go blank on David's business name. Eclectic Reptiles.
I had to think about it.
All right. Super clean, simple, looks great. Like that's good. And again, what Jake said here with Ophidiarium. Got it.
There you go.
Got it. The logo is super clean. It's a nice, and I also like green.
I knew that was it.
I'm a sucker for a green logo. But so when you were going into this, what were some of your things in your mind? Like, all right, if I'm going to do this as still a hobby, but it's a business-ish hobby. It's a hobby you hope to make some money and do some stuff with, right?
Sure, absolutely, yeah. It was
good.
Yeah, it was definitely like that. How do I want to go about this? How do I want to stand out? What things work? What things don't work? Like I said, my brother was a graphic design guy, and he has his whole plethora of examples of really bad things not to do. Yeah, keeping it simple, clean, basic for actual like the appearance of the brand and stuff like that. But then I liked what the one guy answered there, where he said about being new into the hobby, you're going to want to ask a lot of questions, and you're going to want to be teachable and be humble. And I think that's huge, because you don't want to. Some people have that problem where you're going to come in and you're going to sound like you know what you're talking about when you don't know what you talk about, or don't know what you're talking about yet. And I I didn't want to do that. I don't naturally have that problem, I don't think, with most things, but it was more of an issue with me. It was just being willing to put my name out there and get my face out there and go to places and meet people and interact with people. Like, that's where I'm going to struggle, is to actually get out there, because I'm not the guy to go out there and intermingle with stuff like that. But
with that being said, I agree that everyone needs to be teachable and everyone should be humble, but that includes people that have been in this business for 30 years and people that have been in here for 3 months. Yes. Everybody can benefit from being teachable. And Chris Dieter, do not even know.
Chris,
I was in the middle of something.
Chris, I will buy a bigger stocking if need be. Also, I just need to point out, Chris Dieter has the best way to end a conversation. He has a Komodo dragon.
I was just talking about being humble and teachable, and you too.
He is humble. He's humble. He's just telling you he has 2 Komodo dragons.
Chris. I talked about him today, actually, with my zoology club.
And his 2 Komodo dragons?
I did not bring up the Komodos. But no, I think a lot of that is also the teacher in me. Everyone can learn something. And if you've reached a point where you can't learn anything else, then you need a different hobby.
I agree.
I just, if you genuinely don't feel like there is anything left for you to learn, why are you in this?
Well, and a lot of what some of these people are hitting on, and the idea of do what you like, there are, and this goes back to the people that drive me nuts in the hobby. There are a lot of people that get into the hobby and want to be a figure. They want to be someone, like they don't their first thought is not, man, it's really cool to work with this animal. I'd like to be able to reproduce them and see what I could do and the genetics. Their first thought is, man, I could breed all these animals and then I could hang out with folks and then I can do this. Yeah. Like
now see, and now this also, I'm not an agreeer with the phrase, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life, because I have bills to pay and I need to work to pay those bills. If I happen to love what I do, that's great. But at the end of the day, my bills have to be paid.
I love reptiles, but it's work cleaning up shit.
Yeah. So I don't know. Anyways.
But I agree. Like, I agree. You definitely, and I've said on here before, and I can ask you, because so you got into ball pythons. Do you think, had you been given some other species, that would have altered your trajectory, or do you think you would have been pulled to ball pythons eventually? Because I see a lot of folks that I think get into ball pythons, and they're not ball python people. It's just the first thing they saw.
We're pulling out the hard in-depth questions.
Well, it's the first thing they saw, and they don't ever actually try anything else. And if you look around this hobby, there's so many different animals. Yeah. Right. So do you think that you're a ball python person, or do you think that there's probably down the line you may try some other things and try this or that?
Well, I don't know. That's a very intriguing question. You could go pretty far with that. I mean, our first snake was given to us, so it's kind of like we didn't even pick it. Like, we were just given it. So I mean,
I didn't pick this ball python life. This ball python life picked me.
yeah, exactly. But so I mean, I genuinely enjoy ball pythons, and I think that they're neat. I just I see 50,000 of them online for sale all the time, and I'm like, wow, that makes me feel not good about making more of them. And I don't know where I've come out on that in the end, other than the fact that I know what I want to make for myself and what I think looks interesting and what I think would be unique. And I'm going to go for that. And that's kind of the direction I want to go with ball pythons. But very soon into getting into snakes, I think I probably stumbled across NPR first, which is all about carpet pythons, which is nothing that I had. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I start Googling the names of the different things that they're talking about and learning all about that. And that was probably one of the big inspirations in the beginning, which was kind of neat. And then from there, there's a plethora of other different reptile podcasts too that came across. But I mean, I think I would have probably found ball pythons interesting, even if I didn't start off with them.
Desiree says you need more reptiles.
So
I agree with her.
I really have to compliment you on what you said, where you see all these online and you're like, do I really want to make more? Because one of my kids, just because zoology club's fresh in my mind, I know I keep going back to that meeting today. One of the kids was like, we need to get Alice, my box turtle, a friend so they can have babies together.
No.
And I was like, oh, no, we don't. And one of my fifth graders who I've known for a few years looks at the second grader and goes, what is she supposed to do with all those babies? That is not responsible in the slightest. And I was like, somebody gets it.
It's bad that a little kid gets it and that the majority of the reptile hobby does not.
This 10-year-old like totally ruled in the whole meeting in that moment. I was like, yes, what would I do with the babies?
Well, and so what I tend to tell a lot of folks when I talk about the idea of breeding, one, just because you can doesn't mean you should. People, Craigslist animals are the worst for that. Someone gets 2 Craigslist animals that are they have no idea about their history. They could just be 2 normal ball pythons, but one's male, one's female. I'm going to breed them. But why? What's the end game there? What? I mean, because it can't be to make money, because those are $10, $20 animals. Like they're normal ball pythons. They're not worth anything, which sounds bad. I get it. But again, there's 50,000 snakes for sale on Morph Market. Your 2 normal ball pythons producing normal ball pythons is nothing. Yeah. And so I'm with you on the first and foremost, keep what you want to keep, what you like. And if there are breeding projects, so like with some of my boas, there are things that I want to try and produce. Yeah. I'm going to try. And I don't have any like the super expensive boa morphs, but I also don't want them. Like there's a lot of stuff out there. I'd be like, I can save up for that. But I like hypo, I like jungle, and I like albino, and I like motley, and I like what I can do mixing all that shit together. Yeah. And I'm going to try and make the best version of that mixed together. Right. And it may never be super expensive animals, and that's fine. But I will eventually get to what I'll make an animal that I want. I've already made some animals where I'm like, this is what I'm keeping this. This is cool. Which I think is one of the coolest things.
Yes, he has quite often.
I have not. I've only made a handful.
How many holdbacks we have in that room, Lewis?
Not a lot. There are 2 boas from that litter that I'm holding back. There are 3 or 4 that I'm waiting to sell. Those are not holdbacks. They just got to sell them. Just because they're in there.
Lost a sand boa.
So, yeah.
That was a holdback.
No, she was one I had for forever.
Oh, I thought she was a holdback.
No. So I talked about you having all the positives so far of breeding.
We're having some negatives.
A lot of folks don't think this year's been a rough one for me. I had 2 Samboas that finally took. I had several that didn't take this year. I had 2 Samboas that took. One was my oldest female that I've had forever. Right before she was about to give birth, died.
Wow.
And then the other day I went to check up on the other one that was pregnant, and I was like, man, she looks kind of deflated. So I'm like, I don't see baby snakes anywhere. So I started digging around the aspen, and what do I find is a bunch of infertile ovums. I found like 10 infertile ovums that she had laid. And I was like, well, shit, that sucks.
Thanks.
So yeah, it was a rough year on that. I'm hoping that this next breeding season goes better. But those are negatives also that people don't think about, right? They think I'm going to go in, I'm going to make all this money.
I'm going to sound really heartless right now.
What?
And the listeners can all be like, oh, I can't believe Katie just said that. Now we don't have to worry about where we're going to put the babies.
Wrong.
I know. I'm throwing that out there. It was a concern that I had, though.
Sambo babies are easy. I can.
They're cute little
like
derpy.
This big as this thing.
They're small. They fit in the racks easy, and I can sell them no problem.
That is true.
There have been Aneries Samboas sell like hotcakes.
My wife the other day was like, what kind of snakes stay small and cute and tiny and not get
Derpy.
huge? And I'm like
Samboas.
Desiree, I'll get you hooked up on some
derpy.
Samboas. They're awesome. Love Samboas.
They're not as derpy as is it the Indians?
No,
that
it's
we
the
have?
Arabian Samboa,
Arabian,
which we don't have.
That's right.
Yet.
I know.
I will have them. They will be mine.
Okay.
But yeah, do's and don'ts. There's quite a few, but the big one is
don't be an ass.
You can be an ass.
No, you cannot.
Be an ass.
No.
I'm an ass, but I'm still like nice. You can be nice and be an ass. It's an art. Not everybody can do it. I'm just talented. Anyways, but yeah, I just worry that some people get into the hobby. And I guess you're seeing it right now. You're seeing those people that are selling entire collections because that's not their thing. They thought this is my thing. And it's fine for something not to be a thing. But the problem is they didn't figure out it wasn't their thing until they spent, I don't know how much money on 100 animals.
Yeah.
Instead of getting a pet and realizing, oh, this is not my thing as a pet. I may not want to breed these. And I think you're doing a good thing, especially for really for anybody, but for some of the ball python breeders, some of the crested breeders, these guys that have these very common things that have 40, 50 tables at a show, the same thing over and over again. You've got something else as well. Like, right. You've got Popon carpets that you're raising up that you're going to look at breeding at some point. You've got other projects that will keep you interested, and those things will usually sell because they're not the more common stuff, and they will usually sell. You can find an audience for those. Yeah,
I don't think I've seen all but one Popon carpet at one reptile show that I've gone to. Yeah.
I don't see one like Sambo. As I go to shows, I don't see Sambo breed. I'll see people every now and then with a random Sambo here or there.
Yeah.
But not a whole litter of Sambos they produced. Or even boas. I don't see boas that much at the shows around here because all the tables are full. That's another problem I have with the ball python hobby is that it really pulled a lot of people away from other species that could have benefited from having that much attention put on them. Yeah. Right. So I like seeing ball python people. A lot of them I know are branching out into other things and realizing there's other animals they like, which is great because it means that those animals are going to breed them. They're going to be more of those in the hobby, and there's going to be more out there for folks. Because again, I don't think ball pythons are for everybody. I don't think Sambos are for everybody. I don't think boas are for everybody. Like there's too many options out there for there to be the one thing that's for everybody.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm the kind of person that as I'm learning more, I get more interested in it, and I find it more engaging and captivating. The more that you learn, the more you find more to learn. And it's like, holy cow, like this is just piles and piles of years of people doing this stuff. And I find it very interesting and intriguing, and learning about all that is very appealing to me. And if there's something about the hobby that appeals to me the most, it's probably that you can just keep learning and keep getting better at what you're doing.
Oh yeah, there's definitely racks are great, but there's always something we can do different for like that's going to change over time. I'm not saying we need to get rid of racks, but they're going to improve. And it's funny, even on things you don't think you can improve on, 10 years from now, there'll be a new version that like, oh wow, that's cool. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Yeah. That's a great improvement on something that we already thought we had dialed in. So that's one thing. There's always something to learn, especially learning about all the different animals. There's so many different ways to take care of some of the stuff. You know, the way you take care of a ball python is not the same way you take care of your emerald tree boas, right? And so that's a huge learning curve there in taking care of an emerald tree boa versus taking care of a ball python. Yep. And so that keeps it kind of exciting too, because you're like, all right, well, this is not just sitting in a tub on cocoa bedding, and it's different. So I don't know, there's just so much. I love this hobby, and I just wish more people would branch out into different parts of it. Now, with that said, people have got to stop doing the Noah's Ark thing when you get into the hobby. You don't need two of everything, and you don't need 70 different species.
Called that before.
I've said it before.
I wasn't paying attention.
People always suffer at the very beginning. A lot of people suffer from the Noah's Ark syndrome when it comes to reptile hobby.
I'm so proud that you understand that reference.
That's why I lean on my wife for her intuition. That's a good intuition to hold me back from going crazy.
She just tells you no.
Does that work?
Let's
Does
think
that
about
work? Asking for a friend.
I have not gone out and bought anything without asking about it first, even if it's my money.
Oh yeah, I know.
Now, when I have friends like Travis who just sends me stuff, I can't help you there. Those Calabar's boas are awesome.
Yeah, I was told, hey, or who was it that sent the boa downstairs?
Oh, that was our sponsors.
Yeah,
yeah.
I get a phone call. Hey, I gotta go to FedEx. Why? What's coming from FedEx? I gotta go pick up a snake.
Well, it was a gift. I couldn't tell them no. That's very rude.
We had other friends that gifted us an awesome Mexican black king snake, and they asked for approval first.
Yeah, it's a Mexican black king snake.
Although I didn't ask for approval when I bought you that redfoot, so I just bought it for you. Okay. I can't really say no.
Sure.
One other thing, just with the do's and don'ts of business, getting into the hobby and all that stuff, that I know I didn't coin this phrase, but it's definitely a phrase that's stuck with me, is don't go into business, but to grow into business.
Yeah.
And I feel like I want to make sure that I don't just
That's a good
dive
one.
in with $50,000 of investment and then not actually like it. But if I can slowly grow and enjoy the whole process almost appeals to me just as much as the goal of whatever I want to do in it. But
Well, the idea of business with this is interesting because so many people see this as a business before they see it as a hobby sometimes.
yeah,
And I'm like, it needs to be a hobby because it needs to be something you enjoy doing. And, you know, it's like we talked about Corey Martin earlier, right? When we met Corey, she was a carpet python person and a ball python person. And Corey has now gotten rid of almost all of her ball pythons and is now a lizard person and now has monitors, and she's realized, and she's quit her job, and that is her job full time, and she does reptiles and she loves that. But she was willing to branch out and found other things and realized, look, this is not the area I want to be in. This is the area I want to be in. So I think at the same time is you got to be willing to change as well. Like you've got to have, I think some people get gung ho, you know, and even when it comes down to like breeding projects for ball pythons or for anything really, they get so hung up on, well, I've already spent so much money on this, I've got to keep with this. And that may not be the thing you need to do. Like that's just because you did, you know, you get into the ball pythons early, you picked up a few things or whatever, and you may go 2 years down and go, ooh, this is not actually the genes I like. I don't need to make them just because I have them. Why don't I maybe move these out of the collection and move in something I like more and go in that direction? And that direction may not be $50,000 snakes next year, right? That's what everybody's hoping is like, I can be Kabilka and I can get $50,000 off of a you're not that. He's ahead of you. It's just, again, do what you like and you'll get there. Well, you'll get somewhere. It may not be there, but you'll get somewhere. But like I said, it's a matter of doing what you love, not just trying to make a buck. And we go back to that whole vetting people. When you see some of these people selling snakes and they don't vet at all and they're just taking cash from somebody and hand them a deli cup, you know that they may have gotten into it because they thought reptiles are cool and that, but at that point they've lost some of that because they've got to make a certain amount of money to be able to keep what they have. And I feel, unfortunately, they lose some connection to the hobby at that point because they're no longer a hobbyist. It's just a business.
Yeah.
It's money transactions.
Yep.
So, let's talk about, I hate to say it, Chris Eaton.
What about him?
Well,
He's a great guy.
He's okay, I guess. Chris Eaton's fine. Whatever.
Why are we bringing Chris up? What happened?
Because Jake is on 15 Minutes of Lame. He's
cool.
He's up for. He's trying to win the 15 Minutes of Lame.
God, I thought something else had happened and I was out of
No,
the loop.
he still only has one leg. He's hobbling around up there in New York.
I mean, I live in a perpetual state of tired. So I got 2.5 days until Christmas break.
Jake is suffering the same thing I suffered so far right now in his 15 Minutes of Lame.
He's not pushing himself.
It's not that. I pushed myself, but the problem was Antoine cheated.
Antoine did not cheat.
And I should have beat Antoine. I don't know why.
Absolutely not.
Whatever. Antoine cheated.
Antoine's not up for it again.
No, he's not.
So what's Jake's excuse?
I'm sure
not
people are
cheating.
cheating.
I'm not cheating.
He's gonna cheat. So anybody listening to this, go over to Snakes and the Fat Man website and go to the 15 Minutes Live and give Jake a vote. Just go vote for him. He's sitting at 2% right now. He needs more.
Yeah. I need a little more. I need to hit 3% and then I'll feel better. Yeah.
Well, at the end of the year, what he does, he takes all the 15 minutes of lame people.
Oh, I know how it works. I've just been so out of the loop that I didn't realize it had started.
You can vote. You can. Oh, good.
So sorry.
Didn't Caleb win last year?
No.
Did Caleb not win? Caleb ended up with an entire episode, didn't he? Didn't he get it? Or was it?
He should, but he hasn't yet. I think we got to get on Chris about that. But
I don't know if I want to hear Chris talk to Caleb for an hour.
The one. It's gonna eat my snack.
You don't like the night?
I can't get the bag open.
You didn't like the night you joined the Sunday Zoom meeting?
No. Never again.
Oh,
never be
God.
back.
I was there.
Are you?
Yeah, you
Oh
was.
my God.
Yeah.
I've never ever joined one.
It may have been a hate
and
crime.
I'm like,
it may have
I'm
been a
just
hate
gonna
crime.
go sit up there and see what the fuss is about.
But
Warren Booth's face that night when he joined was
Warren Booth joined to burn bridges.
and then
He showed up to end lives. That I need people like, look, I get Dr. Warren Booth. Some of y'all haven't seen Dr. Warren Booth outside of like when he's like being Dr. Warren Booth.
He was taking names.
I was not prepared for that.
That was her first time being in. Sorry, that probably was not the best one to be
God.
in for the first time.
I was not ready.
That got off. You know how our podcast gets off the rails a lot? That one
No,
got
that
off
was
the
off.
rails, fell into a ravine, blew up. It landed on an orphanage. They all burned to death. It was pretty bad.
It was one for the records.
With that said, everybody should come to one at some point. It's a lot of fun. It's not recorded, so we can't tell you exactly what was said or any of that stuff because that'd be going against the rules. But it was fun. So you're 15 minutes of lame.
Yep. You can vote once every 24 hours all the way to Christmas Eve. So
unless you do the first year where the person had a bot do it and cheated the whole way through. There's that.
Oh, I remember that.
I think that was the year I did it. What?
That was.
That was what Shane won the first year, I think. But
yeah. He probably only won because Antoine ripped me off somehow. It's all Antoine's fault. I'm just telling you.
Not. Although,
as the only
since we've talked about Antoine, I don't know if he's going to listen to this or not, but I'm just going to put this out there anyway. And if any of our listeners are friends with him and would like to contact him, I particularly loved his Christmas card last year. It's no. It's in the box with Christmas decorations with all of our Christmas cards from last year.
Oh, okay.
If there's another Christmas card, are you familiar with this Christmas card, Jake?
Oh, I saw it.
We got one in the mail, and I'm so glad my kid didn't open it. It hung. It hung with the front of it on the facing the wall.
It's just a ball python.
Oh, I'm sure. It was fabulous, and I need to know if there's a sequel in the making.
I don't know. People have asked him about it, and he's hinted, but it's almost Christmas time, and I don't see any cards.
I know.
So
it's kind of fabulous.
He's gonna pull
just because he had the balls to do it. Pun intended.
Yeah, but Antoine's a cheater.
He is not
a cheater. I should have won that. As the only non.
We got to figure out when he's coming to Texas so y'all can meet up. This will be great.
He didn't want any of this.
Me in the parking lot. My money's on Antoine.
He didn't want any of this. My money's on me because it will not be a fair fight. I'm walking up to Anton without a weapon in my hand. Come on.
I'll nurse you back to health, babe.
Well, maybe me. I don't care how big you are.
I promise I really do love him, guys.
Rumor is he's a black belt, wasn't he? Yeah.
The black belt doesn't stop a 2x4 to the head. I don't care how many belts you have. He's a black belt, one of those grappling ones where you just pull people around and jerk them off or whatever. That's what he does. Is they pull each other around and it's grappling and hugging and stroking. It's not like the hi-ya kicking stuff. It's not what he does.
What?
It's jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
He hugs. There's a lot of hugging. Was it him and Feely when they did the one and they just hugged for a while at the?
Heard about that? Yeah.
At NARBC.
I didn't hear about this.
It was a couple years back. They did NARBC Arlington, and they did a fight, and it ended up being a very big letdown. It was just them groping each other on the ground for a while, which doesn't shock me after seeing that photo of Antoine that he likes that. Bring it, Antoine. He's not gonna listen to any of this.
Don't be hating on that, ma'am.
He's not gonna hear any of this.
I'll clip it and I'll tag him. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to text him now. Mobile doesn't.
Can someone tell me how long? Oh, we've been streaming for an hour and 27 minutes. Benevolent reptiles. Anyways, get off of Antoine there for a while, which is not what he does when he grapples.
That's what she said, Button.
That's what she said.
30. Send it to him. Send it to Antoine. I'll take him on in a hamburger eating contest or something. I got him. It doesn't matter. He's just he only knows how to hug and jerk people around.
Stop.
Yank them.
Quit it.
Stroke them. Bop it. Twist it.
So bad.
Pull it. Anyways, back to reptiles and enough of Antoine and his stroking men's egos. So what is your future project? Anything that you're planning on trying to add to the collection soon? Are you in the part now where you're like, I want to try and make some stuff first?
I'm kind of in that point where I'm not looking to add a whole lot at this point. I want to kind of get through the process of a few breedings and try to see where I get with some of the genes that I have and go from there. But yeah, I'm not itching to purchase any more ball pythons. I kind of have what I want for now, I think. I mean, there's a lot that I would like, but
you were good at not purchasing any more ball pythons. That's fine.
Yeah.
Boas. Boas are where it's at, man. Get more emerald tree boas.
I would love to get, but I'm definitely gonna not get another import. So
Do not get an import, and definitely don't order from certain people. But boas are so much easier. I don't like eggs. Eggs are a pain in the ass. What?
I was afraid
Oh.
you could hear me chewing, so I had to sit back from the microphone.
yeah, but with eggs, you can put them there and you can know about when they're gonna hatch. I don't know.
Yeah, but then I got to worry about a molding.
Okay, so I have a
drying
question
out,
for
or-
both of you. Legitimate question. Okay. Would you consider a female snake wrapping around a clutch of eggs to be exhibiting a survival instinct or to be exhibiting a motherly instinct?
Hey, so where's this from?
One of my kids today
Okay.
said, well, you said snakes don't take care of their babies, but a ball python will wrap around her eggs. And I was
So-
like, to me, that's more of it wants its eggs to survive.
That's a evolutionary survival instinct.
So it's because I was like, that's not a motherly instinct, though.
The snakes that did not quail eggs, quails didn't live, they didn't survive. That genes they wear out. The ones that do
Yep.
quail the eggs survive, so that stays around. Now,
Yep.
Pause.
Go
Go ahead, Jake.
ahead.
No, I would agree. I kind of am on the same page. If that's what's getting healthy babies to hatch and it works for that species, it's going to work. Other species don't have to incubate their eggs. I don't think some
Yeah, But-
snake species definitely just lay it
Like
and run away. And it
your
works,
rat snakes
but-
just lay eggs and book it.
Yeah.
Do they? Oh, see, I didn't know
But
that.
then you have something like, so it's very tricky. It's a slippery slope to say something is non-motherly instinct, because then you have something like king cobras. King cobras build a nest, they lay
Yeah.
eggs. The mother protects that nest the entire time, right up until
Like, what do you mean by protect?
She
Like,
stays
we'll
in that
scare
nest.
off
if
predators?
a mongoose or anything comes out, she will attack
Mhm.
anything that comes at that nest. She is there. So if you find a giant, and they are huge nests, they're massive. And if you find this giant pile of leaves that has eggs at the bottom of it, she will come out and she will scare you off. Now, at the same time, right before they hatch, she leaves because she has not eaten for a long time. She is a snake eater by nature, and she does not need to be there when a whole bunch of small food items hatch out of eggs.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So, is that motherly instinct or is it nature? Because it's kind of both in some cases.
Yeah.
Think of like alligators, right? Up to the
Right.
first
We
year.
talked about that they would
Yeah.
take care of the babies.
But that's also evolutionary benefit. It's at nature. Like there have been moms that didn't do that. Those babies die. They don't pass on those genes. And so bad mom genes don't get passed on. The taking care of your kids.
Okay.
So it's a tricky thing. It's yes and no, but I'm gonna go with ball pythons being dumb, but it's not a motherly instinct.
Well, that was just the first snake that he threw out, but
But they do it. I mean, they do it. Carpet pythons do it.
Mhm.
They wrap around.
Well, I mean, that makes me think about your question. A motherly instinct. What is a motherly instinct? Because we're thinking of that in a human term with
Yeah.
emotions
Correct.
attached to it. And like you said earlier, like snakes don't really necessarily have that loving portion of their brain as
Which
humans do. So it's kind of a different term altogether. you
Right.
know?
That's why I think survival instinct is
And it's really
more
self-preservation.
an evolutionary thing.
It's really self-preservation. That mother cobra wants those eggs to survive because that's her DNA. Not that she's thinking like that, but that is
Mhm.
how nature is aimed at self-preservation. You want your genes to pass on. The individuals that are more willing to help their genes pass them on. The ones that don't, and they work their way out.
That's why most snakes are camouflage and not bright white in the wild. Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Benevolent Artist says, then there's humans where bad parental instincts are taught and passed through generations. Yes, they are. And then I have to try and teach those kids.
Because I saw some of that today in class. I made 2 kids cry.
But yeah, good question, Katie.
Yeah.
Way to bring something to the conversation.
Look, see, zoology wasn't just fun.
That's another one of those places where people put anthropomorphic feelings on.
Right. And that was my thing. I was like, I don't feel like it's
But then someone will tell you the intelligence of an animal, yada yada. This. So I mean, and I think in all actuality, do we 100% know the answer to any of those questions?
No,
because
absolutely
we can't
not.
talk to
It's just us.
snakes.
thinking about it.
But we can
Some
definitely
people
make
probably
some.
think they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, when you look at alligators, that's a mother. I mean, that thing will kill you if you go after a baby.
Well, and that was the example I used. I said, snakes, when their eggs hatch or their babies are born, they're gone at this point. That child, that baby is completely functioning.
That may be somewhat true. I think they have found with some rattlesnakes and
Well, I
dens,
said I'm sure
Yeah.
there's an exception in 1 or 2 species where that's not the case,
They will
but
hang
the
out.
majority, this is how it is. And I said, but with lizards, it's different. With crocodilians, it's different. Like it depends on the species.
yeah, crocodilians have the more motherly instinct when it comes to reptiles of taking care of young, far past a day or 2 after they're born.
Oh, I think what brought that up was that we were talking about how box turtles would dig with their feet to be able to lay eggs, nest. I think that's where
It was
they
a
don't
weird jump
stay
there.
with the nest. Yeah,
I do want. Okay, so
second graders or something, man.
I do want to ask you, since you are up there in that general area, have you been to Hamburg?
Oh yeah.
How would you describe Hamburg?
Well, the first time I went to Hamburg was probably like 2014. So this is well before. So I had like, oh, reptile show? That's interesting. Let's take my nephew or whatever. That's kind of what we did. So that was interesting. And we were very shocked. We're like, this is pretty wild. Like, what is going on in here? And then I mean, it's just I think it was just the sheer shock of seeing every and anything there. And then getting to know what it actually is with when we got into the snake hobby in like 2019 or whatever, finding out what actually, I was like, wait, that's what that show was in Hamburg. I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. So then going back and realizing what I actually just saw, having more information behind that, it makes you definitely look at everything in a different way, both positively, but also in other ways where you're like, well, that's a little sketchy of a project or of a not a project of a
Show.
of a show
Of a production.
And you've
I mean,
have you been to NARBC?
I haven't yet. No,
So you haven't been there, or Daytona. You haven't been to one of the big ones yet.
no.
But you've been to like well done shows, like decent shows, right?
Yeah, I've gone to. There's been one down in Philly. There's one in Gettysburg.
I heard about the Gettysburg one. So when you walked
Yeah.
into those after Hamburg being your first one, and you walk into the other ones, you went, oh, they're not all crazy carny people selling animals on a dirt floor.
I mean, it's not quite that bad, but there's a little bit of a difference. And there's definitely people at both areas that are vending at the same show
Yeah.
in Hamburg and in Gettysburg or wherever like that. But
I did hear the
I
new
think-
venue is going to be nicer.
yeah, that's the one thing that's interesting. I'm curious to see how that's going to go, but they're gonna no more Hamburg as we know it, basically. But
I still feel it's going to be a cluster. I just want to go into it once. I've heard all the stories because Pennsylvania is the wild, wild west when it comes to buying reptiles.
it is, yeah. I mean,
Like there's so many laws down here about certain things, and Pennsylvania's like, buy whatever the fuck you want. It's fine.
I have a question about laws. Is it true that you can legally own a capybara in Texas?
I'm sure.
Apparently, there are only 4 states where you can legally own a capybara, and Texas is one of them. Unless that is false information. It's very well possibly false information.
I mean, it may fall under like fur trade stuff, so I don't know.
yeah, it's a rodent. Yeah, I don't
Mammals are weird. USDA tends to do all that, and USDA tends to have some weird regulations on a lot of that.
Okay. I just thought that was. I was like,
But I mean,
my response to that was, I'll have to look that up.
you can own a tiger. You might be able to own a capybara.
I know.
So I did like Benevolent Reptiles. His question was on topic. Do you think it's good practice for humans to intervene for survival of species like sea turtles and crested geckos? Yes, because usually if the species is fucked up, it's our fault in the first place. Right? So a lot of times we're just trying. It makes it. We always look like we're saving the species. Like, did we need to save it before we fucked it up? Like, it's probably our fault that it's messed up. Like, we're now just trying to fix something we screwed up in the first place.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts there?
And I mean, definitely, I think history's proven time and time again that we exploit things to the point at which we then realize that we've exploited it, and then we're like, well, that's not good. and then we think that we can fix it, and I don't think that we can fix it as well as we think we can sometimes too. So,
Yeah, I mean, with turtles, between pollution and between all the nesting grounds and beaches where they would normally nest, we've turned into resorts. Like it's a tricky thing for those things to survive. So yeah, we got to do something there. I'm still convinced with crested geckos that they were not as endangered as we thought they were. It's just that the really smart ones are really good at hiding. We just caught the stupid ones. That's all we have now. Is just we have the special cousins. Like there's an entire population, healthy population of intelligent crested geckos living up in a tree somewhere. But we got the stupid ones who just jump off into the air.
Miss Lewis, why aren't we getting Charlie out today? Because Charlie likes to fly.
Charlie
needs not happening.
Charlie needs to wear a helmet. That's why we can't take Charlie out. Charlie will literally lick windows.
Yes, he does. We watch him every day.
That is why Charlie has to stay in his cage.
He jumped across his cage the other day, and all we heard was thump from the back of the room. And like the kids that sat closest to the crested gecko all spun around, and they were like, "He's good. He's just at the top of his cage now." I'm like, "Oh my god,
what a dumbass species!" So I'm torn on. We should definitely save things.
Maybe not crested.
With that said, and there are some animals that I think we're trying to save that are naturally trying to go extinct. And my number one is pandas. Fucking let them die. That's a dumbass animal. I've never seen a video of a panda where I thought that's a smart animal. They're either
You're going to get so much hate for this.
They're either falling over.
You're talking about giant pandas, the black and white pandas.
Well, they're either falling over, tripping over themselves, falling out of trees. That one mom got scared when her baby sneezed, like she forgot she had a fucking baby in the room with her. Like it's a dumb fucking animal.
Not to mention when they have two babies, most of the time they only care for one of them and they let the other one die. Yeah,
and they only eat one thing. Nature has shown you that specialists do not tend to make it long term. That animal has been trying to go extinct for years, and we're like, no, let's save the pandas. Fuck the pandas. Move on to something else. They want to die. Just they fall out of trees. They are trying to kill themselves.
Oh my gosh.
And then you got fucking koalas over in Australia just fucking each other so much they have chlamydia. That's a whole another.
What?
You don't know?
Yeah.
How did I not know about that?
Steve Irwin Zoo has a whole wing in its vet office that's named after Stephen Colbert, I think, or is it named after John Oliver? Who's it named after? Or maybe it's named after Russell Crowe. It's named after somebody. It's the chlamydia.
Is it because they also had it, or because they paid for it?
It was a joke, and they just carried it on, and it's named after them. But yeah, like koala chlamydia is a serious issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're just out there fucking in the wild, just spreading chlamydia.
Yep.
So again, some animals they just need to go extinct. They need to keep it in their fucking pouches. Is what they need to do. Oh my god. Benevolent also asked, do you ever feed your balls baby chicks?
Me?
Yeah.
I've fed them baby chicks before. Yep. I have chickens. I've had chickens for a few years before we had snakes, and I've hatched a couple seasons where just a couple here and there with an incubator, and some of them I kept, some of them I fed to snakes. Euthanize them first, but then fed them off the snakes.
Yeah, I've ordered quail and stuff and fed to like my corn snakes, pine snakes and stuff. I try to vary up some of their diet.
Yeah.
So I've done that.
I have rats. I raise the rats that we feed for all of our snakes.
Gross.
I also have some gerbils. These were just given to me, so I was like, why not breed them as feeders? Because I can.
It's the filet mignon of rodents. That was always
they're good for baby snakes, but yeah.
Well, I was heard when I got into the hobby, if you have a trouble feeder, feed them a gerbil and they'll eat it. So I don't know what it is about them, but apparently they smell or taste better than mice.
Yeah, well, they ate them. I found that the babies are hairier, younger, and move a lot more like a mouse. That's a baby mouse that moves a lot more. So that definitely triggered a few of the baby snakes that we had hatch. So. But I do want to get quail. I want to try that in the near future. Get some quail and raise those up for potential feeders as need be.
I like feeding quail to stuff. And there's always.
Sure, my mic back on.
Yeah, people always have that fear of if you feed chicks or quail or stuff to your snakes that their beaks and feet will tear up the inside of the snake. And I mean, I guess that can happen, but I mean, they eat birds in the wild. Like it's not.
Yeah.
They don't cut the beaks and toes off them in the wild and then swallow them. So there's not some weird prepping thing they're doing for their food before they eat it. So,
Nope.
oh, Katie, it's getting to that time.
Sorry, our child was asking me text message questions.
I need to do our giveaway.
She was like, question. I was like, oh, what is she about to ask me?
I need to do our giveaway.
Yeah, and you haven't even gone over. Holy crap! It is 1:44, and you
I haven't
haven't
gone over
even
what?
gone over any of the stuff on Facebook that
Oh,
people
I
have posted
haven't.
in the last week. Jake, I think you are officially the one person that James, with just two of us, have been able to make it to the 2-hour mark and be crunched for time.
That's not true.
Wow. Well, it's because I'm a bull python guy.
We talked to Chris Dieter, no problem,
Okay, that's true.
because he has 2 Komodo
I was
dragons.
going to say you talked to Christy or no problem.
That's true. You left.
I had to go pick up our kid.
He has. I don't know if you know this.
I had to be a parent.
I don't know if you know this about Chris Dieter, but Chris Dieter has 2 Komodo dragons.
I know. Gosh.
Important to make sure people know that. Let's
Did you
see.
schedule us a time to get to go see them?
The Komodo dragon. Oh, we're gonna go. We'll find time. It's good. All right. So I got the winner for our giveaway. Our
Dun, dun,
colossal. No,
dun.
I don't need that.
I'm your sound effects.
No, I'm good. Our colossal constrictors first week of December giveaway, which is the Red Line Science scraper set for cleaning all that poop and urates out of your
Whoop,
tubs and
whoop,
cages.
whoop. Oh, look at you.
I know, and our winner is Kelly Miller.
Woo! Go, Kelly!
My applause is too far away. It's like several pages away on the.
You gotta fix that, man.
Need to put them right next to each other. There we go. Way to go. Way to go, Kelly. Good job, Kelly.
Stop pushing buttons.
But that's the Price is Right. When you got it wrong, nobody
This
else.
is wrong.
Nobody else spent summers with their grandmother and watched Price is Right. Is that
Just you, Lewis.
just me? Fuck y'all. Plinko is awesome. The little yodeling man going up the hill. If you bet too much, he falls off the mountain, crashes, he dies.
No, I think you're on your own.
Fuck y'all.
Love you.
Price is Right is amazing. It was a great show, and I miss Bob Barker. He's number one person in cutting nuts off of dogs and cats.
I believe it.
Want to make sure you get your cats and dogs spayed and neutered, and in case of cats, you can just go ahead and get rid of them. All right, Kelly will reach out to you. You have won the Red Line set of scrapers. So yeah, let me go over to Facebook. You're right. I didn't look at Facebook. I have it pulled up though. Dun 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 dun. Before Chris eats and fusses at me for not showing the shit that I'm looking at. Not that he's listening to this or watching any of this. It doesn't matter. I think he has a podcast on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
What a loser.
Only losers have podcasts.
He's got 2 of them, which makes him
Yeah.
extra loser. See, look, Benevolent says Price is Right. Bob Ross and
Do
Mr.
we want to
Rogers.
ask how much older these people are than us, though? Because I'm pretty sure they're at least.
Are you trying to make fun of our listeners?
I'm not, but
Darren has been a listener for years.
I may also be.
and you're
wrong
gonna make
about
fun of
Darren's
Darren.
age. I'm gonna stop right now.
You have no idea how old he is, do you?
No, we
That's
don't. Pretty sure they're older than you, though.
you don't know that. Price is Right is not an age thing. That is across the board for all ages.
I was playing outside as a kid. I wasn't sitting inside with my
I
grandma.
played outside also, but it got fucking hot in the middle of the day when Price is Right was on. So you can play in the morning, play in the afternoon.
My grandma
watch
was
Price is Right inside.
scary. Okay, we didn't want to be inside.
So this was a cool thing. Nathan posted this little lizard underneath the water is using this like a diver's hat on its hood. It's got this air bubble on top of its head, and it's actually breathing. It's got this water kind of around it, like a bubble around it, and it's breathing through that underneath the water. So they got to put it in the water. Just drown this lizard. Just fucking put it in the water. What if he was wrong? See, that lizard said, no, I'm leaving. But yeah, you can
Kinda
see
cool.
you can see the air bubbles down the skin. It's just all the way down its body. It's like an invisible force field of air.
That's pretty neat.
Wow.
Yeah. What is your mic is falling over there?
Oh man, I didn't want to sit back up.
I've seen this around before. This is a crocheted bearded dragon.
I saw that this week and I was like, is that real? And it took me a second before I realized.
Yeah, I know it is tricky.
That's great.
Someone has way too much
Why do
time.
they get like the points and stuff on the
Yeah, I got
beard?
nothing. Way
My
too much
wife's a
time.
crocheter. She needs to try that one out.
Step up your game.
This is a leucistic baby alligator.
That's so cute.
I don't know about how rare this. I mean, it's
That's
not,
so cute.
it's not that rare. There's quite a
But
few.
it's still so cute.
There's quite a few leucistic alligators out there.
It's so little.
It is cute.
We can have one that size.
Yeah, but those grow.
No, we can give
But
it
they
back.
don't grow.
Hey,
as
I've
big
seen
as
those at Hamburg. Yeah.
We can give it back.
and they don't grow as big as Chinese alligators.
Just
Chinese.
give it back.
If I get Chinese alligator, it's not going back.
No, I didn't say.
It's mine.
I meant a regular alligator.
If you want me to go to Hamburg and get you a Chinese
Absolutely
alligator, then
not.
I'll mail it to you.
You go get me a Nile crocodile, why don't you?
Wait. They don't have Chinese
Look at you,
alligators
little
in
island.
Hamburger.
They don't. You don't know what they have at Hamburg. They have
Okay.
everything.
Yeah.
Somebody,
It's the wild,
who was it?
wild
No. Scroll back up. I think it was your wife that was like, it has Tijuana
over
flea
here?
market
No,
vibe.
that was Darren.
No,
Oh, it was
it's his
Desiree.
wife.
It was
Yeah.
Desiree. She said Tijuana
Yeah.
flea market.
Yeah, Darren said
Yes.
that the heat, the smells, and how crowded helps it feels and gives that shady back alley vibe.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, here's a
Crowded.
post. And a rat. See, that's the
Hamburg.
old venue. This hang this. Yeah. So the new venue. They're talking about the new venue for Hamburg. It's funny we talk about Hamburg. This post right here talks about the new location for the new Hamburg show. I don't care. You can dress it up however you want. Same people are still going to show up to that thing. Just funny cartoon. Let's see. Funny cartoon of she's kissing a frog and then Death shows up and she's wondering why her prince is. That's because she kissed a poisonous frog. She's an idiot. So now she's dead.
How did I miss that?
Yeah.
I like it. Dry
Poof.
humor. I like it.
It's not that I missed what the I did not understand it. I just didn't see that posted.
Maybe you should look more. This is a cool one. This is all reptile teeth. So it shows you the American alligator tooth, Gaboon viper, Mangshan viper, Komodo dragon, which by the way, Chris Dieter has 2 of, in case you're wondering.
Oh, he has 2 sets of teeth.
Yeah. Crocodile monitor, reticulated python, rhino iguana, and then monocle cobra.
We talked about snakes and their teeth today at Zoology Club too. One kid asked me how many teeth they have. I said, you know what? I'm not sure, but we can Google it later. Because that's my answer if I don't know it. Let's Google it.
I did not get a chance to read this, but this is Wildlife Wonders of Galapagos Islands. The Travis posted. I'm assuming it's a trip because he says if only he had the money, I would love to go. To the
I
Galapagos.
imagine it's a trip. Yeah, I haven't read it.
You know, the hardest part about being at the Galapagos is not touching stuff.
Yeah. This post right here hit me all in the feels.
Oh, all the good food he's feeding his animals, and he's over here eating a bowl of ramen.
Yeah. Although it says $1 ramen, and
That's
that
not the
looks
$1
like, that's
ramen.
not the $1 ramen.
That's the fancy like $2 ramen.
Well, but it almost looks like the stuff we buy for our kid at Sam's Club.
No, it's not that one.
Oh,
Here's another video of that
wow.
little alligator.
That's okay.
It said like the world's first or something, which it is not. It is not even close to the world's first leucistic alligator. There's a lot of them.
Maybe it was their first leucistic
But
alligator.
if you
and
say world's first, yeah. Maybe
Gatorland is
people
proud
believe
to the rarest of them all are the first one in the world. It's not the first.
oh, I didn't read the.
Gatorland knows that's not the first one in the world. The Gatorland, there's
And
no,
we're sure that's a leucistic alligator. We're sure that's not something else.
no, it's a leucistic. I'm almost positive. I mean, I've seen leucistic alligator.
No, but what I'm
it
saying is
doesn't
like,
have
all right,
pink eyes. Yeah, it's not albino.
no. But
You've
is
seen
it-
a leucistic alligator at
wait,
croc
stop.
encounters.
Let me talk. Is it a leucistic alligator or is it
Yes.
a leucistic something else that's
It's
like a
rarest
cross?
alligator in the world.
Which is well, then they're wrong.
I mean, there's a big fat one down the road
Oh, I know.
at croc encounters.
I've seen it. I know. But no. I
Eh.
hate that word. Benevolent.
Benevolent.
Did I say it? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a word that in my vocabulary it's hard for me to say. I don't understand why.
Is benevolent really in your vocabulary?
I choose not to use that word and use synonyms
I don't
because
think-
I struggle saying
I don't think
that
people
word.
choose to not use benevolent. It just doesn't come up in conversation.
No. It's hard. Anyways.
He went
I
to the same
don't-
school of picking a name as Jake did. Find one that people can't pronounce and go with it.
I'm not sure if the crocheted the crocheted bearded dragon is from the girl in Canada or not.
Canadians. That's who they were at the very beginning. They were here. Our old sea anal side exotics.
Yes.
They
They're
were
here
here.
every week because some reason they love you.
This was a funny cartoon. Snake and a woman drinking. It says, "What you drinking? Herbal tea? You? Gerbil tea?" It was funny.
You chuckled, didn't you?
I did. Lost tortoise in Texas travels 50 miles. Spurs fantastic 4-county week-long search for Hoss. Can people please keep their animals from escaping? What?
I didn't mean to call you old.
She did. She meant to call you old. She has no idea how old you are, but she's assuming that it's old.
I think
I'm
they
assuming
should,
it's over 35.
You
That-
realize you're older than 35, right?
I'm gonna stab you in the pin.
Just saying.
that turtle tortoise post there made me think that they should do a remake of Homeward Bound with all turtles.
Just a whole group,
God.
whole group of
I
tortoises.
cannot. My emotions
Like,
cannot handle
Red Ear
that.
Slider that got dropped off in a pond. sulcata that broke out of a fence.
I had a co-teacher one year, 2nd grade. It was my first year teaching, and she's like, "We're gonna watch Homeward Bound."
Oh,
Like,
man.
what the hell is wrong with you? We are not watching that. I'm not crying like that in front of a room full of kids. What's wrong with you?
We showed my daughter that one a few years ago when she was like 2, and when Sassy the cat falls off the waterfall, she's like, "What's wrong?" She just broke down in tears. Is she okay?
Well, that's weird. I
Yeah.
cheered at that point.
So what's funny, well, not funny, like haha funny, but funny, ironic, I guess, is my mom watched it with my sister and I. My sister cries at everything sad. I cry at everything happy. So Sassy falls off the waterfall. My sister, who's 4 years younger than me, dissolves uncontrollably sobbing. She survives the waterfall, and it's my turn to uncontrollably sob and
You know what?
dissolve.
This is what I did.
You know what we need to do? We need to make our daughter watch Old Yeller. She's old enough.
It's not a sad movie.
I'll bet
Where
she
the
would
red
be.
fern grows. That's the one.
I never watched that. one.
Oh,
Old Ye-
God.
Old
I had
Yeller's-
to read that book in 7th
Old
grade,
Yeller's
and
not
I
sad.
vividly remember sobbing through the last 3 chapters
But
of that
the
book.
dog had rabies.
I know, but
not sad.
had
He
to
turned into
shoot
Cujo.
The boy had to shoot his dog.
He turned
man.
into Cujo.
I couldn't do it.
We had a dog bite Joe when we put it down.
That was not the reason we put it down.
It was the beginning of it.
It was the beginning of a start of a lot of issues.
And this dog was big and would have killed that kid. And that's why they put it down.
You're missing the point.
They also lived out in the country.
The
where they
point
don't
is,
have,
our
like,
child is
inside dogs.
emotionally vapid.
No, show her Marley. Well, she didn't have. Show her Marley and Me. That's a sad movie.
I told you not to watch that.
I watched it twice. That was a bad idea. Don't watch that one. Benevolent's only 41.
Okay, well,
By the way, that's not far from your age, in case you're wondering.
it's really not.
So
Just a couple years. Oh my God, I'm almost 40, James. You'll be there before me.
yeah, that's how numbers work.
Jake, how old are you? Make me feel worse. Go ahead.
I'm 31.
Okay.
Fuck you. No, you want to? This will make you feel.
I was
old.
going to put you at like 28 or
So-
29.
So the bells at our school are always songs. They didn't have a theme. Today's theme was Christmas rap songs, and there were songs I didn't know
Oh,
existed
man.
or that I didn't know I needed.
One of my favorite is the Justin Bieber little drummer boy.
Fuck that.
Oh my
They did play one Justin Bieber song, and the only redeeming quality to it was Busta Rhymes was in the song.
Darren Watson, don't make me not like you.
But no, listen to these songs because I didn't know some of them existed. One was Little John and the Kool-Aid Man.
What?
That's not a rapper's name. It was the Kool-Aid Man.
No way.
Oh my God. I didn't know I needed that song.
I'm going to need to look that up.
Fucking
now.
amazing. Another one was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, sung by DMX.
That's the one you sent me.
Yeah. So I said something in the hallway about that, and one of the new teachers walks by and goes, "What was that?" I was like, "It's DMX." She goes, "What's DMX?" Fuck off.
Is she the baby?
She's young. But I don't know what DMX is. But yes, Lil Jon does the song with the Kool-Aid Man.
I gotta look that up.
And he says,
I know, I'm fixing to
he
grab
says,
my
oh,
phone.
he says, "Oh yeah," but he says like he sings instead of dun dun
You're
dun
getting
dun.
so
No,
hyped
wait.
about
Instead
this.
of dun 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 dun, he sings it as "Oh yeah, oh yo, oh." It's fucking hilarious. You
I'm
have
going
to
to Google that right
go
now.
find Lil Jon and the Kool-Aid Man. I forget which song it is, but just Christmas. There can't be that many Lil Jon Kool-Aid Man songs. Fucking hilarious.
Maybe there's a whole album that you don't know exists.
I need there to be a whole album of Lil Jon and the Kool-Aid Man. So I just-
Lil Jon and the Kool-Aid Man. It was the first thing. All I really want for Christmas.
I
Was
don't-
that it?
Maybe.
No, this is Christmas jingle.
I don't know. It's him and the Kool-Aid Man. There can't be that many options.
Had a
Anyways,
very busy few months.
so we did our giveaway. Our giveaway next week is going to be a Redline Science probe kit for anybody out there who wants to get some probes. Benevolent said you should show the class Mr. T's rap song about mothers before Mother's Day. Nice. Again, go over to our Facebook page. Just tell us what you want for Christmas and go give our friends at Colossal Constrictors a like. And you're in there. That's all you do. You don't have to buy anything and you're going to get a free gift for Christmas. Let's see. Our friend Kelly Miller just got a free gift for Christmas. So go over there and give them a like. Are you looking up the song?
Yeah, I found the video. I'm going to text it to you so you can listen to it and tell me if that's it.
There can't be more than one song.
It's a commercial. Like there's a whole music video that goes with it, and he busts through the wall of the house.
Fuck yeah.
The Kool-Aid man has tinsel like in his Kool-Aid.
Why are you not?
So
why are you not
weird.
playing? Oh, we're not monetized. You can play that shit on here.
No.
Oh fuck.
Oh, Jake, thank you so much for putting up with us tonight.
No, it was fun. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much for having me.
goodness.
I like turtles. I like turtles.
Where's Sean Gray when we need him?
That's a classic.
Oh God.
Fatality.
Now you're just seeing what you've got on here
forgot
because you
that.
don't remember. He literally is scrolling through.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna have that stuck in my head all night now.
Don't you know about the bird? Peter's gonna tell you about the bird.
Is this the whole song? Oh my God.
The truth is out there. Start a conspiracy podcast.
Oh God.
You want some music to end the night on?
I'm afraid.
Yeah. Play that same song. Yep.
Oh, God.
Okay, I'm.
If you've stuck around this long, you are an amazing individual.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And if you don't know what this is from, you're probably like 30 years old or younger.
I was about to say, then you're way too much younger than I am.
So you know what I think about that? All right. Good night to everybody in the chat. Jake, if people want to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you and go vote for you?
They can reach out to me through Instagram or Facebook. I have a Instagram, Facebook, and they're both the Ophidiarium. You can vote for me at snakesandthefatman.com for their 15 minutes of lame. I'm the third one from the top, I think. So yeah, do it.
Go vote for him. He needs the votes.
Appreciate it.
If you vote for him, poor child in Africa gets free meal.
James, don't say that.
You can lie.
It's actually a good idea.
That way, if they don't vote for him, they hate poor small children in Africa. What kind of person are they?
Yeah.
Just guilt people into giving.
Just like
again,
at the grocery mart. Yep.
Yeah. Again, you can reach out to us. We are the Reptile Gumbo Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, at gmail.com. You can find also meet Simply Serpents on Instagram and Facebook.
James is going to be dropping some hints on his episode. That is his Christmas miracle.
No, I'm
next
gonna
week.
fuck it. I'm gonna go ahead and say
You're
it.
going to tell him now.
So I'm not gonna lie. This whole episode stems from one line in one movie.
That he will probably say at least 5 times
I'll
next
say
week.
it at least once. I may actually just put it in the bank on the thing here. It's from Airplane, and it's when they're on the airplane and they go, doctor, 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 doctor. Next week is our all doctors episode.
I'm going to feel so dumb.
We are going to have Dr. Travis Wyman, Dr. Zach Loafman, Dr. Warren Booth, and Dr. We lost our guest, and Dr. Ben Morrill, all on the episode together. So get your questions ready, folks. We need lots of questions for the doctors.
I'm going to Google a lot of stuff next week. I just know it.
But
And it's on a Tuesday, so
It is
I
next
don't have
Tuesday.
to leave and be a parent.
I don't know how it happened, but it is a Christmas miracle. They're all going to be here, all doctors, all the time.
He's wanted this episode for a long
It will officially be
time.
the smartest podcast ever made. So just throwing that out there. So join us next week as we
Maybe I'll have a glass of wine while we.
is that going to make you
It
smarter?
might make me feel better about myself.
They're doctors of being awesome.
Well, yes, that is true.
They're also all PhDs.
Like
They're not like if you have a heart attack, they're not going to save your life. Don't
no.
don't go. Not that. Yeah, no, don't do it. They're not that kind of doctor. They
No photographs.
they don't want to see any parts of your body. I promise. Well, Warren may. I don't know. The rest of them don't. So join us next week for that. I'm looking forward to that. Again,
You
remember,
can text Jake. I don't know what happened. I think we lost him.
I know we lost him. Also, our sponsors again, VivTech, code Gumbo22, go save 15%. Don't forget Little Shop of Horrors for all of your feeder needs. Don't forget going to a Herb Reptile show near you in the new year.
Check out Lone Star Reptile Racks.
Lone Star Reptile Racks. I think I got everybody. Oh, Colossal Constrictors. Go check out Colossal Constrictors. They are our giveaway sponsor for this whole month of December. Make sure you go over and tell us what you want for Christmas. I think it's also on Instagram too. You can tell us there. But get entered. It's free, and you can win free stuff for free because that's how free stuff works. All right. Good night. We will see all of y'all next week on Doctors, which is the new sitcom we're starting next week.
Bye.
Doctors. Goodbye.